I mean, it's just, if I pulled up the profile of cheater, con man, clown, and coward,
results,
your face would be next to it. Now, you sitting up here with your wife standing next to you.
She's my 7th wife, Your Honor. Things that's been said in here, all of it's not true.
She actually sent between 5 and 7 nude pictures of herself to an ex. I went through her phone and I seen she was talking
We weren't
with.
together.
I called this guy off my phone and he didn't want to talk to me at all. And you know what, I'm at a point in the relationship where I'm like, you know what, I really want to know what's going on. So I sent him $100 cash for him to tell me, just tell me what's going on with you and my girlfriend.
This case is a full-on disaster from the start. Judge Lake introduces Streeter vs. Hartfield, where Ms. Streeter says Mr. Hartfield tricked her into having his baby while hiding the fact that he was married. He denies being the father and blames other men, but everyone can already tell this is going to be a mess.
You claim that during your relationship with the defendant, he convinced you to get pregnant with his child, but what you didn't know is that he was a married man.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say Mr. Hartfield is only denying the child in order to save his marriage. You say you made a mistake by having an affair, but you know you are not father of Ms. Streeter's child. You claim that Ms. Streeter was openly sleeping with other men besides you.
Ms. Streeter says the baby was planned, and they even tracked ovulation to make it happen. Mr. Hartfield says that's a whole lot of lies and acts like he barely knows her. Someone is definitely lying, and it's not looking good for him.
We went to hospital and we got the birth control taken out together.
She's telling you guys a bunch of lies. A whole lot of lies. That's convincing. That's definitely not the truth. We went in and took a birth control out together. That's definitely not true.
We planned this child, and when we even planned the date, you know, I had an app on my phone that tracked my ovulation, and we knew what we was doing when we was having sex.
Ms. Streeter finds out he's married the old-fashioned way, Facebook stalking. She sees happy pictures of him and his wife, but he tells her those are old, like that actually means anything. She calls his wife anyway, and now the truth is out.
He had ended up telling me a relative's name, and I had went on Facebook and found the relative, then found Mrs. Hartfield's page, and that's when I seen pictures of them. And I didn't even call her right away because he had told me, like, them pictures are old, she's professional, and for her image. Matter of fact, I didn't even call her, I text her and let her know, like, your husband's been treating on you for 8 months, and I'm 5 months pregnant. This never happened, but he just texted me just recently.
Ms. Streeter brings receipts, text from Mr. Hartfield saying, "I'm horny, come over." He tries to deny it, then admits it, then says they were playing a game. Judge Lake looks like she needs a vacation after hearing that nonsense.
He texted me earlier this week.
This is a text that says, no, and then I'm horny, and then come over. And the next line says, I'm serious, I am horny as hell.
That is true. I did send those messages.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did. Hold on, let me explain to you why. Because of this game that she and I like to play, that she likes to play.
Now, Mr. Hartfield says he only texted her because she threatened to call his wife. He even claims she was blackmailing him over a stolen car. The excuses just keep getting dumber, and the judge is over it.
Your Honor, I am dealing with a 22-year-old. It's because I didn't do things for her from the extortion that she's been doing to me that she's gonna call my wife. That time she did. Next time, she said she's gonna report that I stole her car. So I'm in a situation where I either get locked up if I don't play her little childish game.
Entertain her, you pacify her with flirtation.
Mrs. Hartfield finds out about the affair through a random text from Ms. Streeter. She confronts her husband, and he hits her with, "She ain't nobody." She decides right then and there that she's done with this nonsense.
The text message that I received from her.
You get a text message.
I'm in a relationship with your husband and have been for 8 months, and I'm pregnant. And that's it. Bleepity bleep is going on here. And I asked him about it, and he said, oh, she's just some little girl. She ain't nobody. I didn't like texting, so I called her. We had a conversation to which I told her, best of luck.
Ms. Streeter says Mr. Hartfield was excited at the hospital and signed the birth certificate. But then, at the last second, he freaked out and had his name removed. The evidence is right there, but he still tries to talk his way out of it.
He was there when the baby was born. You know, that's my baby, that's my boy. I never got to see none of my kids. He needs to be in the house with both parents.
Were you telling her these things, Mr. Hartfield?
I tried to get him to sign the birth certificate. The reason why, he signed it at first, but it was time for the witness to see us, and he like, you too anxious about me signing this birth certificate. You know what, miss, take my name off, talking to the witness. Like,
Mr. Hartfield says she told another man he was the dad too. Ms. Streeter calls him a liar. And honestly, at this point, we all believe her. The judge looks 2 seconds away from throwing her gavel.
What do you mean? You say you're not the only man?
There's a guy in our local town that she's also told him that he was the father, and she promised to give him some more loving once she had the child.
For me, I feel like it's an iffy thing with him. If I don't want to be with him, he don't want to be with the baby. But it's times when I have to come over and here's the baby.
Your Honor, that is absolutely crazy nuts what she's saying.
Turns out Mr. Hartfield had a whole secret apartment that his wife didn't know about. Ms. Streeter found out first, and dropped that bomb right on his wife. The pictures of him hanging out with the baby at this secret hideout just make it worse.
I never had a
Ms.
relationship with
Hartfield,
her.
you felt like he was living with you when he was sleeping with her.
Yes.
And you didn't know about this other place.
I did not know about the other place when she told me.
I have pictures of
He
him and my
took
son
pictures,
spending
yes.
time together. Spent times with my son when he claimed.
Is this at the other place?
Yeah.
And this is
that's
baby
me.
Caleb
That's right. I
together.
did that last week, actually.
Judge Lake has had enough and calls him a cheater, con man, clown, and coward. The audience claps because she's saying what we're all thinking. But now, the moment we've all been waiting for, DNA results.
I mean, it's just, if I pulled up the profile of cheater, con man, clown, and coward,
Results.
your face would be next to it. Now, you sitting up here with your wife standing next to you.
She's my 7th wife, Your Honor. Things that's been said in here, all of it is not true.
The results are in, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Hartfield, you are the father.
This whole mess is about to be a roller coaster. Miss Whalen says Mr. LeBlanc, a married man, is the dad of her son, Vincent. His wife says if the DNA test proves it, she's out.
Ms. Whalen, you admit you've been in a sexual relationship with Mr. LeBlanc, a married man, and claim he is the father of your 2-year-old son, Vincent Whalen. You are determined to prove that you are not the father of Miss Whalen's son in hopes of saving your marriage.
Yes, Your Honor.
This man acted like science was lying to him. Miss Whalen took multiple pregnancy tests, and he still sat there like, no way. Meanwhile, his wife had no clue a text was about to ruin her day.
Back when I was pregnant, he was staying in my house. It was one night I was telling him that I might be pregnant because I hadn't started my menstruation, so he went out and got some pregnancy tests, asked me to take them. He sat on side my bed holding his head. When I took the first one, I gave it to him and it showed that I was pregnant, and he still sat there and said, oh man, this can't be true. You can't be pregnant. And it was only because he didn't know how he was gonna go back and tell his wife that I was pregnant.
Imagine getting a text saying, I can't believe I did this again. No phone call, no explanation, just a casual message about a whole other baby. And that little word again? Oh, it's about to cause chaos.
I found out about Vincent through a text message through my husband. No phone call.
A phone call's not even good enough
I
for
need
that.
to see you face to face. None of that. It was through a text message. The text message stated, I can't believe I did this to you again. Again.
The word I'm hearing is again.
Right, again.
Turns out Vincent isn't even Mr. LeBlanc's first secret baby. He already has another child, Jaden, from a previous affair. The judge and Mrs. LeBlanc are both officially done with him.
Prior to Vincent, there was Jaden.
Who's the mother of that child?
I am. That's my 3-year-old.
Unfortunately, yes, sir.
To make the exact same mistake again?
And that's, Your Honor, why I didn't want, at that time, when she was telling me about Vincent, her being pregnant with Vincent.
The judge shuts everyone down real fast. She says both women are letting this man run back and forth like a lost puppy. And just when you think it can't get worse, he pulls out another excuse.
None of you all gonna come out looking any better than the other one. It's a mess. And it's babies coming into the world and a daddy going back and forth between houses. I'm just trying to I'm like watching a tennis match. I got a married man bouncing back and forth between his mistress and his wife. You all letting them, then you all wanna come into court and downgrade one another. Come on, man.
Now he says he heard rumors that Miss Whalen was sleeping with a neighbor. A guy in a pickup truck apparently hinted at it, and somehow that's his proof. The judge is not buying any of it.
There was rumors, Your Honor, going around that Miss Whalen had slept with the neighbor. I was confronted at one time. A guy pulled up on me in a pickup truck. He was like, oh, you know who I am? I was like, nah, who are you? There was rumors going around that she had slept with this guy.
We're here to offer proof that is relevant.
Grandma gets up and immediately calls her granddaughter a sneaky little hoe. The judge tries to calm things down, but it's full-on reality TV drama at this point. Even the audience can't believe what they're hearing.
Well, if she come out, Mr. LeBlanc's not the father, then I just know my granddaughter was a sneaky little hoe that thought past me, and I didn't catch that. But I honestly don't believe that. See, whores sleep around. Whores leave their husband and go sleep with other men and let him go sleep with other women and then want to get back. That's what whores do.
Hold on.
No whore right here.
This man really stands there and says, I love my wife. The audience is so over him, and the judge just shakes her head. Sir, your wife is done. Read the room.
I love my wife, Your Honor. I want to be with my wife. But at the same time, my wife, it's a struggle because it's hard to try to be with my wife knowing there's a possibility that these other kids are mine. And my wife trying to have a move forward in our marriage, it's hard for her to accept, bringing other kids into the household that's outside our marriage.
Exactly. That's why you ain't had no business doing it.
The results are in, and surprise, surprise.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. LeBlanc, you are the father.
This part is wild from the start. Miss Phillips sues Mr. Gibbies for $1,000, claiming he's not helping with their baby. She says he's 100% the dad and wants a test to prove it, but Mr. Gibbies isn't buying it. He says she's been with too many other guys and isn't his problem.
You are suing your ex-boyfriend for $1,000 in childcare expenses you claim he has ignored since denying that he is the father of your 2-month-old daughter, Jordan, whom he refuses to meet. Today, you have petitioned the court for a paternity test to prove he is the father and are looking to recover your $1,000 childcare expenses.
This breakup sounds straight out of a soap opera. Phillips thought Gibbies was the one, but after some spiritual event, he suddenly said, "I gotta work on myself." Then, in the middle of the night, he drove her to a hotel and left her there. She was confused, like she got kicked off a reality show. But wait, there's a holiday party story coming up that's even crazier.
I thought it was gonna be the best situation. I thought that actually the one for me. I think it started for me when, he went to this spiritual convention and he came home that night. He was just like, "You gotta go."
Then he goes to a spiritual convention.
Yes.
And comes home and tells you to get out.
Yeah, he told me he had to go because he was working on himself, whatever. So I was like, well, it's late.
Things get messy, fast. Gibbies goes to Miami, and while he's gone, he hears Phillips was partying too hard. She denies it at first, but later admits she cheated. Gibbies is crushed but stays in the relationship. But don't blink, because up next, car drama and a shocking confession.
2 days later, I get a call from a mutual friend that says she was involved in an event.
I called you and told you.
My mutual friend told me first. They left and went to a party where I know what type of girl she is. She's a very promiscuous girl, put it like that herself, because she's seen her.
I got right in the car and I seen her. I even said hey to me. In that situation, yes, I was.
Originally, she told me that was her brother's.
This story has more twists than a curly fry. Gibbies' friend admits he hooked up with Phillips and had to hide when Gibbies showed up. She says they weren't together then, but she fires back, finding condom wrappers in his bag after Miami. And next, texts, jail time, and trust issues galore.
That's when the black car pulls up. He said, "Yeah, she told me to go ahead and let's get out because it's my boyfriend. He's crazy." I said, "Did the black car look like this one?" And he was like,
"Yeah, that was a friend of mine. We weren't even together."
And he explained in detail.
And I felt bad about it. I told him I felt bad. I should never did that. I didn't even feel good about it at all. The bag that he took to Miami, I see condoms in the open, and they open and one missing.
This is the he said, she said Olympics, and nobody's winning. Phillips says she was loyal, but Gibbies says she lies about where she goes. Then he drops a bomb. While he was in jail for 2 months, he found flirty texts from other guys in her phone. And just when it couldn't get worse, boom, married man alert.
A lot of times, because there's been times that we actually did things together, which I understand, because if you cheat once, then you think he's gonna think you always cheating. But then that's why I kept myself around him.
There was times,
so he wouldn't think that something was wrong, and that's what I did. I even had problems with my people. My grandmother was getting mad because I always was running over there to him.
This one had everyone shook. Phillips says Gibbies told her he was separated, but he was still legally married. Judge Lake sets him straight. You're still married till the papers say otherwise. And just when you think that's the biggest twist, the next confession takes things up a notch.
When I first met him, whatever, and we was getting into our relationship, he told me that he had been married before.
My wife at the time was living in Mississippi. We had been legally separated for almost 2 years.
A man is married until he is divorced. But at some point you found out.
Yes.
2 weeks later, but you continued. 4 years now?
I did, because by then I felt like I was stuck. I was young and I felt like I was stuck.
This part is sad and confusing. Phillips moved 800 miles away while pregnant, and Gibbies missed everything. Doctor visits, the birth, all of it. He felt left out and doubted the baby was his. Phillips says she just wanted to escape the drama. But now, Gibbies' sister is stepping in with her own take.
Who gets pregnant by a man that you claim is pregnant by? You go and take off 800 miles away. You go to Tampa. You down there. You done left me up here high and dry. You're not worried about me. I'm calling. I'm trying to maintain a long distance relationship. I'm not there doing the pregnancy of this child. The labor of this child. But even still, when she came back for her birthday, I took her out.
Gibbies' sister Raven comes in with some strong opinions. She says Phillips leaving during pregnancy looks suspicious. If it was really my brother's baby, why ghost the whole family? Plus, she says both of them cheated, so who even knows whose baby it is? And finally, it's DNA test time. The moment of truth is here.
First of all, it's just too much between the both of them, back and forth. This has been going on for years. And when my brother first told me that she was pregnant and that she did have a child, I thought it was strange that she left and went to Tampa, keeping it away from him, but you're keeping it away from the rest of his family too. Because if it is his daughter, then she's our family too.
You are her father.
That's it.
This part was wild. A man on his deathbed swearing a kid isn't his? Ms. Richardson asked her husband if he wanted to see the child, and he flat out said no. He kept denying it until his last breath, leaving everyone convinced he wasn't the dad.
Your Honor,
At my husband's deathbed, I had asked him, did he want to see his child? He said, that's not my child. So he kept telling me all the way until he took his last breath that she was not his child.
And you feel like at that point, if he did feel it was a possibility it was his child, he would have told you?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you not know a man is married when his whole family does? Ms. Russell says she had no clue until his mom told her after he had already proposed. She swears she was only with him, but things were about to get way messier.
I wasn't told about a wife until I was with the mom one day, and I told her that he had asked me to marry him in a text. She said, I don't know how he gonna ask you to marry him when he already married. He told me that they were separated and that he was waiting on her to pay for a divorce because he couldn't do it.
Lisa.
But that's not what he told me.
And my daughter-in-law, and that's that.
Imagine grieving your husband and finding out he had a secret kid. Ms. Richardson got a letter from her mother-in-law spilling all the tea. She found out about the other woman, the baby, and got sent a picture of the child all at once.
I found out from my mother-in-law. She wrote me a letter and we talked over the phone, and she told me that he had a girlfriend, and she also told me that he had a baby. She sent me a picture of the child. I don't even know what to say really about this because I'm very devastated, I'm upset, I'm over my loss of my husband. I was there when he took his last breath.
She was there the whole time.
The whole thing.
She thought the doctors were playing a prank on her. Ms. Russell went to the hospital for feeling sick, and they told her she was 4 months pregnant. She literally laughed because it was the day before April Fool's, but the joke was on her.
I got up to go to the bathroom one day and I could barely move. I called my mom and asked her to take me to the hospital. My aunt ended up taking me. I get to the hospital, they're like, Jessica, we suspect that you pregnant. I start laughing. I thought it was a joke. I'm like, this is the day before April Fool's Day. Why are you playing? I was 4 months and 3 days. I hadn't been with nobody since October.
And then after that time, you ended the relationship.
I left him June 28th.
If you thought he'd be happy, think again. He tried to pay someone to convince her to take an abortion pill. Instead of stepping up, he acted like the baby was a problem to get rid of. Ms. Russell refused and left him while she was 5 months pregnant.
Was he accepting the child? Was he saying?
No, he told me he didn't want the baby. He tried to pay the neighbor to get me to take some type of pill to get me to have an abortion. So I just decided I wasn't gonna do it, and when I had the money, I was gonna leave.
His own niece came in with receipts. He already told her he didn't think the baby was his. While he was away, he admitted he was seeing other women and doubted Eliza was his. And just when you thought this was the proof they needed, another twist came in.
He was down south while his wife was away, and the first thing he said was, niece, I don't think that this baby is mine. I even have somebody else who's coming to visit me while I'm here. So she was never in the picture until the fact that she had the child. Never spoke about her until the fact that he said that there was a possible chance that her daughter, Eliza, was his.
A DNA test was already done before, but it gave no real answer. Ms. Hill, Mr. Richardson's mom, took a test with the child, but it came back inconclusive. This only made them more sure the baby wasn't his.
So you've taken a DNA test prior? You did?
Yes, inconclusive. After my son had passed away, there was a letter came through the mail. It said for child support. I opened it up because my son is dead. So what is this all about? They said, well, ma'am, since he dead, we need a DNA test did on you. When the paperwork came back, it was inconclusive.
Boom.
It has been determined by this court, Ms. Hill and Mr. Richardson Sr. are related to Eliza Richardson.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That's all we want.
That's all we want.
Right away, things get wild. Mr. Green says Mrs. Green cheated all the time, so he's not sure Keegan is even his kid. Mrs. Green says, no, you cheated first.
You claim that the defendant repeatedly cheated on you during your marriage with both men and women. You state you have every reason to doubt that you are 1-year-old Keegan's biological father because of Mrs. Green's sexual track record. And you've petitioned the court for a paternity test. Mrs. Green, you say Mr. Green wasn't ready to be married and that he was the promiscuous one.
Mr. Green says she'd disappear for hours with weird excuses. One time, she said she was going to Burger King, but came back 3 hours later. Bro, what were you doing? Grilling the burgers yourself?
I mean, she used to leave me in the house like for numerous amounts of time. Like she'd tell me she going to the store for like an hour. She'd be gone for like 2 or 3 hours. Like she just been to her girlfriend's house. To her girlfriend's house can mean really her boyfriend's house or both. I don't think Burger King at 10 o'clock at night is crowded until like 1 in the morning. So this is what made me like not want to be with her. And then when I did leave, the first time I did leave, I was going to see my other child.
Mr. Green found a random condom wrapper on the floor and freaked out. Mrs. Green Green says he was in Atlanta probably making another baby. Now they're just yelling, "You cheated! No, you cheated!"
I found the condom wrapper on the floor. Like one time I came home out of town or whatever, I came, it was
Out
condom
of
wrapper on
town.
the
How
floor.
long were you out of town for? Where were you at when you were out of town?
I was in Atlanta.
Right, in Atlanta, right.
Yeah, I was in Atlanta.
With who?
With my son, moms. But we wasn't together.
So what are you talking about then?
But still, you found the condom wrapper on the floor, you smutty.
Mrs. Green said she got pregnant right after Mr. Green got back from Atlanta. He's like, how do I know that baby's mine? Their timelines don't match, and the math is not mathing.
He comes back and then you're pregnant. You tell him you're pregnant.
He was back for like a month before I found out I was pregnant. I had not been with anyone during the time that this child was conceived besides
Oh, really?
him.
Somebody wasn't calling your phone?
So you get pregnant through the phone. Anyway, like I said, I hadn't been with anyone during the time that this child was conceived besides him.
Mr. Green's friend says people know Mrs. Green's name for the wrong reasons. Judge Lake is like, gossip isn't proof, dude. Basically, his testimony was just one big rumor sandwich.
Basically, she turned up. They both turned up.
I believe I want you to explain to me in respectful language, if possible, what turned up means. Enlighten me.
No holds barred. Everything is a go, basically.
Sexually.
Everything is a go, yes.
Understood. Multiple partners.
Vegas in the bedroom.
Mrs. Green's friend says Mr. Green left right after the wedding. She says both of them need to stop fighting and be parents. Finally, someone with some sense.
Me and Whitney have been friends for a very long time. When, not too long after they got married, probably about 2, 3, maybe 4 days after they got married, she called me crying and she was like, my husband left. This is 4 days after you get married. When you get married so you don't have to chase people. You've been chasing and running from the beginning.
Mrs. Green cries and says she loved him, but never felt respected. She's just tired of all the drama. Before she can move on, she needs the truth about Keegan.
I've been through so much with him that isn't relevant to this case and relevant to what's going on right now. When I married this man, he had a child on the way. But I loved him and I wanted to be with him. I had to deal with him going back and forth. And he already had a child too. Like I said, I loved him, so I married him regardless. But I never feel like I was truly ever respected as his wife from day one.
Judge Lake reads the results.
As it relates to 1-year-old Keegan Green, Mr. Green, you are the father.
Now turn up to that. Turn up now.
Whoa, this one starts off super crazy. Mr. Smith left town because he thought the baby wasn't his. Melody's yelling, he's denying, and now they're in court like it's an episode of a soap opera.
Ms. Melody, you and the defendant are separated and living in different states because he says he's not the father of your 9-month-old baby, Savannah. Mr. Smith, you say the plaintiff's continuous lies and infidelities are proof that you are not the father of her daughter and you refuse to move back in.
Mr. Smith said the baby was way too dark to be his, like he thinks babies come out with ID photos. Melody said it was bruising from being born early. He still packed his stuff and said, I'm out.
No. I moved hundreds of miles away because when my baby was born, she came out 5 shades too dark compared to me. I mean,
No.
we're both very...
She was 2 months early.
No, we're both very white.
2 months early. I wasn't fully dilated when she came out. She was bruised. He hasn't even seen our kids in a month. He's been gone for months.
No,
He doesn't call, he doesn't help. I'm doing it all by myself.
This man found Craigslist messages and went full detective mode. He even called the guy like, you messing with my girl? Melody says, nah, she was just selling cars.
Okay, Your Honor, I was going through her phone like normal. I believe normal married couples do. They check up on each other's stuff. I mean, I do. But only because there was a history of infidelity.
We're doing a little investigation, going through her phone.
Looking, and I see that she's talking to some guy. So what do? I pick up my cell phone, I call him, and I say, hey, who is this? That's when he tells me, oh, I had an ad on Craigslist looking for a girlfriend.
Melody admits she planned drinks with the Craigslist dude, but says it didn't happen. The judge side-eyed her hard. Mr. Smith looked like he just won a game show.
We were supposed to go out for drinks. We were supposed to meet up. We never actually did.
That's why we're here. You don't come all the way to paternity court to come up in here and tell a lie, because at the end of the day, the DNA is going to show whether you're lying or not. It's an opportunity to just get it out. Tell it like it is.
Mr. Smith showed baby pics like it was a school project. He said the baby didn't look like him and brought up Melody's past boyfriends. Judge Lake was trying hard not to roll her eyes.
Well, she has a history of dating African-American men, Hispanic men, and that's really why when my baby was born, I thought that she's not mine. I mean, you can see here in the pictures, Your Honor, that I...
You feel like the coloring in her forehead indicates that she's African-American, or do you feel like her skin tone, you feel like is a dark tone?
Her overall skin tone
Her skin tone.
This guy paid $100 to Melody's ex for old nudes, and the ex just sent the same ones Melody already sent. He paid for a rerun.
She actually sent between 5 and 7 nude pictures of herself to an ex. I went through her phone and I seen she was talking
We weren't
to him.
together.
I called this guy off my phone and he didn't want to talk to me at all. And you know what, I'm at a point in the relationship where I'm like, you know what, I really want to know what's going on. So I sent him $100 cash for him to tell me, just tell me what's going on with you and my girlfriend.
Mr. Smith says Melody's ex came to town right when the baby was made. He thinks that proves it all. Melody's like, I didn't even see him.
And I just recently found out that right around the time that she sent those pictures to him was when he actually came into town, right around the time she got pregnant.
I haven't seen him in over 2 years.
Are there any other instances that make you doubt?
No, he's just very jealous. He comes up with stuff. I applied for jobs on Craigslist. I went and applied for a job for cleaning.
Smith skipped the baby's birth because he had doubts. Melody was heartbroken, raising babies while he vanished. The court looked ready to explode.
Because there's so much infidelity on her part that, I mean, I'm still young. I've been courting her and the kids for years now.
No.
And for her to just disrespect me like that, go off cheating
I've never
everybody
cheated
that
on
she
him.
wants to.
He's the only one who's ever cheated in our relationship. I've been faithful. Yeah, I talked to somebody. Now we're not together. Now I'm raising my kids on my own. We're married. We're supposed to be together.
Mr. Smith, you are Savannah's father.
No.
If you were there when my mother died at the hospital on her deathbed and she told you she wanted you to take care of us, take care of me, whatever, where did you go? Why would you just leave us there? Why did we have to grow up the way that we did? That makes no sense to me.
You just standing there, Mr. Wallace, like you don't have a piece of remorse in the world.
No, ma'am.
You don't have any issues with cheating on your wife?
No, she's not a victim.
She's not?
No.
Oh, fill us in.
She barely cooks. She doesn't clean.
Correction.
Miss Lockridge takes Mr. Tidwell to court, claiming he's not stepping up for their 10-month-old son, King. She's confident, 100% sure he's the dad, and today's DNA test will settle it. But hold on, the drama that follows, you're not ready.
Ms. Lockridge, you've dragged the defendant, Mr. Tidwell, to court because he has refused to acknowledge your 10-month-old son, King. You are 100% sure he's the father and claim today's results will prove your case.
Mr. Tidwell fires back, saying Miss Lockridge doesn't actually believe he's the dad. She just wants him to be. He insists they only had an on and off casual thing for 6 years. Miss Lockridge? She's ready to clap back with some fiery responses.
I think she's more wants me to be the dad than she really believes I'm the dad. She's obsessed with me and she's to make me feel like I'm not the father. She's left town, she's left me with the baby for weeks. She only called me when she had the baby. There was no relationship.
We were on and off for 6 years. We were together for my understanding, how he led me to believe I was single or I was with him in a committed relationship for at least a year.
Things heat up when Miss Lockridge says she told Mr. Tidwell about the baby with an ultrasound photo and a note. His reaction? Confusion, like he'd been handed surprise homework. But trust me, the real mess hasn't even started yet.
She came over to my house. We hung out. The next day, I see a piece of paper on my bed. I grab it, I looked at it. It was a note with an ultrasound in it. I'm not sure the exact words of the note, but it said that she didn't know how to tell me this. So I called her. She didn't answer the phone. She ended up leaving me a text message saying that she was sorry and that she didn't know how to tell me that she was pregnant.
Miss Lockridge insists she wasn't seeing anyone else when King was conceived, only Mr. Tidwell. While she's all about the baby, he's looking like he just walked into a plot twist. The courtroom, nowhere near done with the fireworks.
When we conceived my child, I told him I just had my period a week ago.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
He said, shut up, and we kept going at it.
Oh,
That's
wow.
a lie, Your Honor.
You thought that he wanted or didn't mind if he got you pregnant.
I mean, he just got another girl pregnant 4 months prior, and I asked him, what you gonna do about it? He said, if it's mine, then I'm gonna take care of it. So next time I come over, heck yeah, I'm excited.
Enter Mr. Tidwell's mom, Miss Harrington, who accuses Miss Lockridge of being obsessed with her son. She even jokes about a prayer closet dedicated to him. Oh, and she doesn't think King looks like their family. Drama. drama off the charts.
She is very obsessed with my son.
I am not in love with him.
All she talks about is how much she wants to be with him and how she's got a prayer closet at home for him. Well, you know, this is just obsession, really.
Why is it so far-fetched that he could be King's biological father?
Because there was such a long span of time in between. I don't know anything about this young lady, really.
Miss Lockridge says she left King with Mr. Tidwell while working, but he claims she vanished for 2 weeks. And what happened when she returned? Let's just say it's part comedy, part cringe.
She left for 2 weeks.
No.
When I call her
Thursday
to ask her when she's coming back, she said she'll be back when she get back. I said, well, then I'm just going to keep him to figure out if he's mine. And all. She came within an hour. She was there with a man and picked the boy up. Came in, snatched him up, left, and I didn't hear her for a week. And I'm like, where are you going? Who are you with? Oh, don't worry about it. Ooh. And she just snatched him up, left most of his stuff, bottles, and just left.
Miss Lockridge whips out King's birth certificate, pointing out that Mr. Tidwell named him and gave him his last name. Her argument? He knew King was his. The tension, sky high as the DNA results approach.
The birth certificate, there's no dad's name on it. That's all I want today. And if my son's name is King Tidwell, he needs the man that named him King Tidwell to be in his life.
You didn't just pick the name King, you gave him his last name too.
But yet he's gonna deny my son?
From your actions.
Denying is not a problem, Your Honor. It's
From
the
your
actions
actions.
of the way she's been acting, the things she do.
You named the child.
I gave her the name that I wanted my son to have.
The results are in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Tidwell, you are not his father.
Are you kidding me?
Things get messy fast. Mr. Robinson and his wife claim he's not Trevorous' dad and say Ms. Grant tricked him into paying child support. Now they're suing for $124 to fix his license and $1,600 in wages.
You and your wife say you are not the father of the defendant's son, Trevorous, but know who is. You claim she deceived you into believing you were the father to collect child support, and as a result of your inability to pay, your driver's license was suspended and your tax return was taken. Today you're suing Ms. Grant for $124 for license reinstatement fees and plan to return to court in your home state to fight for $1,685.10 in garnished wages.
Ms. Grant isn't backing down. She shows the court an affidavit where Mr. Robinson said he's the dad. She says he even acted like a dad before doubting it. Mr. Robinson admits signing it but gets sketchy about his proof.
My son never went around them. Yes, Dexter did claim my child because I have proof here where he went to sign papers and everything. He had the opportunity.
What is this paperwork?
That is where he signed and say that is his child, and he states that he will pay $60 a month for his child.
This is an affidavit, an admission of paternity, which is basically an acknowledgement of paternity.
Plot twist. Ms. Grant says Trevorous isn't Mr. Ellis's kid, but Mr. Ellis told Mr. Robinson otherwise. Mr. Robinson believed he was the dad for over 20 years, but one conversation flipped everything upside down.
2 years ago when this other man approached him and told him that he was the father.
So, Mr. Robinson, at some point after you signed this acknowledgement, someone came up to you and said, I'm Mr. Christian's father?
Yes, Your Honor.
20 years you thought Mr. Christian was your son and you were paying support?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Ellis claims Mr. Robinson started the whole mess, but then it gets wild. He says Ms. Grant once called Trevorous his son, which she denies. Meanwhile, the tension rises, and Trevorous is about to weigh in.
No, that's a lie. He approached me. He came to me and he said, I heard that Martez was your son. I said, well, hey, man, hey, look, I didn't tell you to go up there and sign them papers, so that's on you. You know, I feel he is my son because of his mom approached me and said one.
And I never, Your Honor, I never.
Yes. Trevorous shares his side, saying his mom left him confused about who his dad was. He felt closer to Mr. Ellis's family, while Mr. Robinson's barely acknowledged him. Judge Lake reminds everyone about the legal affidavit, but the real shocker's coming.
Were you ever told that Mr. Ellis was your father?
I was told that it could be either of the two.
That it could be either of the two?
Yes, ma'am.
And who told you this?
My mom.
Ms. Grant, your son's saying that you honestly told him it could be either of these two men. In your prior testimony, you said you were only sleeping with Mr. Ellis way before Mr. Robinson.
I was telling the truth earlier.
The DNA results are in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Eddie Ellis, you are not the father.
Buckle up, because this story starts with a mind-blowing twist. Mr. Hinton says he had a fling with the twins' late mom, which led to their birth. After a tragic accident, he lost contact and spent 25 years proving he's their dad. But the twins are like, who even is this guy? Things are about to get messy, so brace yourself for the drama bomb.
Mr. Hinton, you say that a brief affair with the defendant's now deceased mother resulted in their birth. You say you lost touch touch with the children after a tragic accident and have spent the last 25 years trying to find them and prove you are their father.
This part feels straight out of a soap opera. Mr. Hinton claims he bumped into the twins' mom at a flea market, visited her house, and the little girl Marilyn jumped into his arms like she knew him. But Marilyn's over here saying, no, that never happened. Trust me, the chaos is only just beginning.
I was in Columbus, Ohio at a flea market. Somebody came up and tapped me on the back of my shoulder. I turned around and looked. I didn't recognize her at first. Then she looked at me like, this is Tanya. And then it clicked for me right then and there. So we did our pleasantries and we hugged. So I said, well, why don't you come over tonight? And at the time we was talking, there was kids running around the living room. I mean, just running around. Kids do.
Now it gets popcorn worthy. Marilyn remembers a guy named Mark hanging around when she was little, but she never called him dad. Mr. Hinton says, surprise, I was going by my middle name, Mark. Apparently, there was an army of Emmanuels in Columbus. The reactions to this twist, priceless.
I do remember when I was a little girl and my mom let me go with a man who I called Mark. I didn't even call him dad. I didn't call him Manny. His name was Mark. He just took an interest in me and my mother just let me go with him. We would and I just remember one day that he just literally came and was like, no, this is the last time I'm going to see you. Probably about a year or so before my mother passed.
Things get crazier with a new plot twist. The court confirms Mr. Hinton's full name is Emmanuel Mark Hinton, but Marilyn insists her family said Renard was her dad. Mr. Hinton claims he was there during her childhood. If you think this is wild, hold on. It's not over.
But Ms. Waddell testified that she got picked up and spent time with a man named Mark. Your name is Emmanuel.
Right. At time in Columbus, Ohio, I don't know what it was a big boom. There's a lot of males that were named Emmanuel. I knew 6 people named Emmanuel myself. So I didn't want these people to keep everybody in the whole city keep interfering with me thinking I'm this Emmanuel and I'm this Emmanuel.
Now we hit the emotional part. The twins accuse Mr. Hinton of being MIA after their mom passed, sharing how they grew up in foster care and were separated at 9. Marilyn asks, if you cared so much, why didn't you come back for us? His response, eye-roll worthy.
We're 33 years old. So if you are our father, why would you wait all of this time? Me and my twin, we grew up in foster care and we were even separated at 9 years old. Where did you go? I don't understand after 33 years why you just come in all of a sudden and you find me on Facebook, you say you were looking for me all this time. I've been in the same place.
Get ready for drama overload. Mr. Hinton says he promised their mom he'd take care of the twins, but needed time to get his life together. The twins aren't buying it, asking, where were you for 33 years? The roller coaster isn't stopping here.
He was there at my mother's death. That makes me extremely upset. If you were there when my mother died at the hospital on her deathbed and she told you she wanted you to take care of us, take care of me, whatever, where did you go? Why would you just leave us there? Why did we have to grow up the way that we did? That makes no sense to me. No excuse that he can give me on why he wasn't there, especially when he keeps insinuating that he was there when my mother passed.
This is a classic, are you kidding me moment? Marilyn asks why Mr. Hinton tried to pick her up, but not her twin brother. She's like, what parent picks one kid and leaves the other? Mr. Hinton blames challenges, but the twins aren't convinced. The tension is about to explode.
Why didn't he come back to get both of us 7 months later?
7 months later?
Yeah, why would you just say, I'm coming back to get Marilyn?
Because he was not there.
Okay.
I was there. I'm not going to take one and not take the other.
I'm a single mother. I struggle, but I'm not just going to leave him or just put him in foster care, let him go over, ABC house just because I can't take him. We going to struggle together.
But there wasn't a cycle there, Yana.
This kicks off with some juicy family drama that feels straight out of a TV show. Ms. Webster overhears gossip suggesting her dad might not actually be her dad. Her cousin chimes in saying, you're just like Mr. Ware. Same laugh, same walk. And suddenly, everyone's suspicious.
You recently learned shocking news that Myron Smith, the man you believe to be your dad and who paid child support for you, may not be your biological father. Now you've dragged the defendant, Mr. Ware, to paternity court to prove that he is your father and claim today's results will prove your case.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Webster dives into her baby book, uncovering clues that only fuel her doubts. She finds notes and gifts from Mr. Ware's family, while Mr. Ware admits he dated her mom but thought she wasn't his. Now, she's on a mission to untangle the truth with some spiritual guidance.
I had a baby book for a long time, and I never really started putting things together until the blood type wasn't the same. And I'm looking in the baby book, and there's relatives of Mr. Ware's family that signed in when I was born. born, they bought gifts. There was an address.
Relatives of Mr. Ware,
Yes, Your Honor.
have signed into your baby book when you were born.
Correct, Your Honor.
The plot thickens when Mr. Ware shows up during a church prayer session. Ms. Webster turns around and realizes this could be her dad, but it's as awkward as it is surreal. The moment feels like destiny, or maybe just a bizarre twist of fate.
We went to visit him at his church. I knew who he was, but he didn't know who I was. I just been praying, that I find out who my father is. There's things in my life. I came to the Lord. I went to the altar. They had altar call. I'm praying. And I'm nervous, but I just felt this energy. When I got up, Mr. Ware was standing right behind me. So out of all
And
the
did you
people,
know it was Mr. Ware?
When I was down, no, I didn't know who was standing there when I got up.
Tamara Smith enters with major receipts, claiming she knows who the real dad is. She insists Ms. Webster's mom and Mr. Ware were together when Ms. Webster was conceived, clashing with her mom's denial. The drama skyrockets as Ms. Webster's mom steps in to defend her story.
My name is Tamara Smith, and I grew up in the household with Demisha's mother, Miss Webster. Mr. Ware was like a part of our family. I know what Miss Webster may have told him, that he wasn't the father, but I believe in my heart when Miss Webster left Louisville to move back to Dayton, Ohio, that she left her pregnant.
Mr. Smith, who's been paying child support for years, reveals he was out of state during the conception window. Despite signing papers without a DNA test, he wanted to do the right thing. Now, Ms. Webster's mom has to set the record straight amid mounting tension.
You have been paying child support.
Yes, I have.
But you don't believe you're her biological father.
No, I don't. Miss Webster was born September the 17th, which means that she had to be conceived either late December or January of 76 or late December of 75. I was in the United States Army, stationed in Fort Hood, Texas. So right there, she was born September the 17th. Last time I was home on leave was late November.
The mom testifies, confidently naming Mr. Smith as the dad, until it's revealed she was dating Mr. Ware too. The court hears everyone's version of events, creating a live soap opera moment. Then comes the bombshell. The DNA test results are in.
Tisha was named for my cousin Marika and Mr. Ware. His middle name and Marika's name together, and that's how she got to be.
Of course, Marsha and I, we got together to name her at the time. I do remember that.
You dated through the process, you named her together, but you were sure he was not the father?
Right.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Ware, you are not her father.
This gets messy fast. Like, grab your popcorn. Messy. Mr. Pierce accuses Ms. Koval of tricking him into thinking her baby was his. She admits she cheated, but insists Julian is his, setting the stage for a drama-packed showdown.
You are summoning your ex-fiancée, Ms. Cavell, for a paternity test to prove that her one-year-old son, Julian, is not your son. You claim Ms. Cavell deceived you into believing you were the father, and it wasn't until Julian was 6 months old when she finally confessed she had cheated and you may not be the father.
Things explode when Mr. Pierce recalls giving Ms. Koval a chance to confess secrets, thinking they were solid. She admitted to cheating, which led to days of guilt-fueled confessions. Just when you think it's done, more chaos unfolds.
When I found out, I just had to call it off. I mean, there's no sense in really trying to go for a marriage because it's not true.
How do you feel when you hear Mr. Pierce say these things, Ms. Cavell?
It really hurts me. I know I made a mistake at one. We were both going through an emotional roller coaster at that time period. I made a mistake one time. I understand that my son looks nothing like him, but he looked to me when I was a baby.
You don't see no color in that baby.
Ms. Koval reveals she cheated after feeling unsupported during a tough time. She says it was a one-time mistake with a coworker, but Mr. Pierce doubts her. The awkward vibes skyrocket as trust hangs by a thread.
When was he born?
May 13th.
Oh, this is here. When you had that moment where you fell short and cheated?
It was in September. I don't remember the exact date. I had just lost a baby.
Early September, middle September?
It was early September.
Did you say the end of August, beginning of September?
Somewhere around.
You cheated right around here.
Mr. Pierce wants both a paternity and lie detector test, saying trust is gone. He can't believe someone he trusted betrayed him. Their future hinges on these test results, and the tension couldn't be higher.
In addition to the DNA test you request today, you're also requesting a lie detector test.
Correct, Your Honor.
We have, in fact, administered that test, and the results will be revealed shortly. You have this beautiful baby. When you look at this child, what are you thinking?
Every time I look at him, it kills me.
The paternity test results are in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Pierce, you are Julian's father.
Yes!
From the get-go, it's chaos. Miss Reed demands a paternity test to prove Mr. Wallace isn't the father of Miss Austin's baby. Plus, she's suing Miss Austin for $5,000, blaming the affair for her financial troubles. Miss Austin fires back, denying she owes Miss Reed anything and insisting Mr. Wallace is her baby's dad. The drama is off the charts, and we're only getting started.
You are demanding that Ms. Austin have a paternity test administered on her child, whom she claims was fathered by your estranged husband. You're hoping the DNA test will prove that your husband is not her baby's father. You argue that her affair has left you struggling financially as well.
Buckle up. This is where it gets messy. Miss Reed found out about Miss Austin when she answered Mr. Wallace's phone and heard, "I'm his girlfriend." Shocked, she responded, "No, I'm his fiancé and we just had a baby." Though she initially left him, she later forgave and married him. But Miss Austin's next bombshell keeps the drama rolling.
And I found out about Mrs. Austin. One day I came in from the hospital from having my second child, and Raniel's phone rang, and I just so happened to answer the phone. Mrs. Austin, she said, "I'm Raniel's girlfriend." I said, "Raniel's girlfriend? Did you know that Raniel was engaged to me or whatever and just had a baby?" She said, "No." I packed my things and I left with my 2 kids at the time. I went and stayed at my aunt's house.
Miss Austin brings the heat with her unapologetic story. She claims she didn't know about the engagement and only learned of their marriage via Facebook. Instead of apologizing, she blames Miss Reed for not keeping up the house, saying that's why Mr. Wallace strayed. Her confidence is wild, but when Mr. Wallace enters, the drama hits new heights.
I found out on Facebook that Raniel, Mrs. Reed, was married. When she posted a picture up there of their marriage life, that's when I found out. And yes, I did confront Raniel about the marriage.
So what you're saying actually is that you didn't have any regret or remorse about it because you felt like if she was handling her business, he wouldn't be over talking to you.
Mr. Wallace arrives looking more casual than concerned. He admits to cheating, fathering 3 kids with Miss Reed and possibly one with Miss Austin, citing boredom as his excuse. Judge Lake calls him out for his audacity, while Miss Reed tearfully confronts the mess he's created. Things quickly turn emotional.
You just standing there, Mr. Wallace, like you don't have a piece of remorse in the world. You don't?
No, ma'am.
You don't have any issues with cheating on your wife?
No, she's not a victim.
She's not?
No.
Oh, fill us in.
First off, she wasn't a good wife. She barely cooks, she doesn't clean.
Correction.
Miss Reed's testimony is heartbreaking. She shares how her kids feel neglected now that Miss Austin's baby is in the picture. While upset with both parties, she ultimately blames Mr. Wallace for failing their family. Her only wish? For her kids to have a present, caring father. But there's still the $5,000 lawsuit to address.
I'd rather for it to be his because I feel like ever since Raniel had other kids on my kids get the short end of the stick. They rarely see their dad. Like when I take them to see him, I have to like leave them with him in order for them to spend time with their father. Before her child even got in the picture, Raniel was there for my kids for whatever. Like watched them, gave them whatever. But now that Mrs. Austin's child is in the picture, my kids have to suffer. And I feel that it's not right.
The $5,000 lawsuit hits a wall. Judge Lake rules that Miss Austin isn't to blame for the marriage's downfall. That's all on Mr. Wallace. Miss Reed looks frustrated, but the judge calls out everyone's messy behavior, reminding them that children's lives are at stake. And now it's time for the paternity results.
We found out today through testimony and confirmation is that Mr. Wallace actually went after Ms. Austin. Now, in order for you to sue for alienation of affection, you have to prove that this young woman planned to destroy your marriage. I don't see that. It was his free will that started this affair. Are we clear?
Yes, Your Honor.
So for this reason, my judgment is for the defendant.
Here's the moment everyone's been waiting for.
In the case of Reed versus Austin, when it comes to baby Demuriel, Mr. Wallace, you are her father.
Told you, dummy. She looks just like you, dummy.
When I said you go across that aisle and hug your daughter, the first thing you did was look at your wife for permission. I didn't miss that.
Amen by that. Amen
And I
by
want
that.
to make sure we're clear if no one's let you know. You don't need permission to love your child.
Amen.
Court session starts, and Judge Lake jumps right into it, addressing everyone. Things are just getting warmed up, and you won't believe what comes next.
Ms. Jackson, you've dragged your ex-boyfriend to court to prove he fathered your 26-year-old daughter, Tanika. You claim he's denied her since birth, birth because you were caught in a love triangle with him and his wife.
It's about to get real messy. Ms. Jackson says Mr. Brown owes her a whopping $2,624 in child support. Sparks are already flying, and this is just the start. Stay tuned for more shouting.
1 week ago, you reopened your child support case in which you state Mr. Brown owes you $20,624.08.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brown, you and your wife claim you can't be the father because you were on the road for 3 months during the time of conception.
That's true, Your Honor.
You've basically taken care of your daughter alone.
Yes.
Oh, here we go. Ms. Jackson says she met Mr. Brown at a club where he told her Drusilla was just a friend. Later that night, they end up at an apartment. And who barges in? You guessed it, Drusilla. Ms. Jackson had no clue this was going to be drama central, and you'll never believe what's coming up.
I met him at the club, and we started talking, we started dancing. He told me he'll be back. When he left with his wife, Miss Brown, I asked him who she was. He told me if she was just a friend. So he came back to the club, and then we went to the apartment. We was in the back of the room. She came in the door. She said, come on out, let me talk to you. I didn't know that he was dating her because he told me they had broke up.
Drusilla is not letting this go. She catches Mr. Brown and Ms. Jackson together again, this time in a club bathroom. Drusilla let Ms. Jackson go, kept her eyes on her man, and just when you think it can't get any crazier, it totally does.
He wasn't in the club. I said, well, one place he could be because his car was still outside. So I knocked on the door of the bathroom. I said, Dwight, I know you're in there. I said, open this door. He cracked it a little bit. So when I pushed it open, she in there, done him in the bathroom. But I told her, I said, you can go.
So you find him in the club in the bathroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this part is like something out of a sitcom. Drusilla comes home and hears noises coming from her closet. You can just feel Drusilla's frustration as she realizes Mr. Brown is still fooling around. And if you thought this was wild, there's a lot more coming.
When I got to my apartment, I unlocked the door with the key. So at that point, I heard my closet door slide open. When I got inside, I went right to the closet, opened the door. She standing up there naked, had my man in my house. So even, he kept fooling around with her, like you say, going back and forth. So
you knew that he kept an affair going with her?
Yeah, off and on, yes.
Mr. Brown finally admits he's been with both women at the same time, unprotected, but he's also throwing shade, saying he saw Ms. Jackson with another man, so he doubts he's the dad. This love triangle is a total mess, and it just keeps getting messier as they go deeper into the story.
Were you sleeping with both of them without protection?
Yes.
So why do you deny that Tanika is your daughter if you know you've been with this woman over a span of time?
I've seen too many things happen. Like one morning, I thought she was at work. Come find out, she was out with another man.
Things are getting juicy. Ms. Jackson presents a birth certificate saying Mr. Brown is Nika's dad, and Drusilla and Mr. Brown are not having it. This isn't just a paternity case. It's turning into a full-blown mystery, and everyone's hanging on to see what'll pop up next.
I have proof that Mr. Brown signed my birth certificate.
I'd like to see that.
That's the birth certificate that's a fake, Your Honor. That is a fraud. Her mama been lying to her.
So wait, on this birth certificate, it does say Dwight Stanley Brown.
He named me and he spelled the name.
He was with me during the time that birth certificate.
Name me.
Now, I do not see a signature on this birth certificate,
because he did not sign it.
I didn't sign it.
Drusilla is spilling more tea. She says she tried for years to get Ms. Jackson to agree to a DNA test, but Ms. Jackson always dodged it. It's a total blame game, and Drusilla's got receipts, so you know it's about to get even spicier.
She don't ever keep calling me. That's an insult about DNA testing. Every time we ask for something. Same thing in 1992. Okay, then we went to Ms. Jackson again. Went up to the lab again to get a DNA testing. I paid my money. My husband didn't pay child support. I did. I took care of her.
That's true.
This story is so
dramatic.
Judge Lake points out the irony in Drusilla's complaints, saying, it's the same lady in your closet. Drusilla tries to act like the problem is solved, but Judge Lake reminds her they're here to see if Mr. Brown is really Tanika's dad. Hold on tight because the moment of truth is about to drop.
It's the same lady that's in your closet, same lady that's behind the bathroom door.
Yeah.
It's the same lady. But that doesn't mean that Tanika is not your husband's biological
That's all I ever wanted to know, Your Honor. Well, that's his daughter.
That's why we're here.
Yes, ma'am.
Round the envelope, please.
Yes, ma'am.
This is it, the big reveal. Judge Lake opens the DNA results, and yes, Mr. Brown is confirmed to be Tanika's dad. Emotions are flying everywhere, but don't leave yet. There's still one more twist.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Brown, you are her father.
Jesus.
This last bit is unbelievable. Judge Lake asks Mr. Brown to hug his daughter, and he actually looks over at his wife to check if it's okay first. With that, the courtroom wraps up, but Judge Lake leaves everyone with some wise words on family, forgiveness, and facing the truth.
When I said you go across that aisle and hug your daughter, the first thing you did was look at your wife for permission. I didn't miss that.
Amen about that. Amen
And I
about
want
that.
to make sure we're clear if no one's let you know. You don't need permission to love your child.
Amen. That's right.
Yes, right.
All right, folds. Things get wild right from the start. Miss Jackson tells everyone she's here to confront her husband's mistress and prove this baby isn't his. You can already feel the tension, and we're only getting started.
Miss Jackson, you say you're here?
The mistress stands her ground and says she knows the baby is Mr. Jackson's. With the audience hanging on every word, you can tell this show tea on how she found out about the affair. And wow, it's juicy. Trust me, this argument is only getting messier. If you thought this story couldn't get more awkward, wait until you hear how Mr. Jackson introduced his wife. Miss Jackson claps back, pointing out there's a big difference. In surprising us, she says she spent nearly $900 on stuff for the baby, even though she doubts the baby is her husband's. This
Miss Lipscomb, when you had the baby, was he at the hospital? Did he cut the cord?
He didn't cut the cord, but he was there.
Acknowledged paternity.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's why the baby was placed on my benefit.
things are cooling down, Miss Jackson drops a big surprise. She's pregnant. Now, the room is buzzing, and everyone's looking at Miss Lipscomb, wondering how she'll respond to this news. Isn't impressed Arnold is the father of her kid and wants him to pay up for childcare. And just wait, because this family feud is only getting started.
Ms. McKeever, you say you have no doubt that Mr. Arnold is your 3-year-old son Kenneth's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You've requested...
Crazier by the minute.
Mr. Arnold, you and your aunt, Ms. Henderson, say that Ms. McKeever admitted to sleeping with 2 other men, but now you claim you're the one who's been put on child support for a boy who's definitely not yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge Lake isn't having any of it, and
Standing that she's responsible for paying you back this month.
And that is, yes.
get ready for a bombshell. Mr. Arnold's aunt, Ms. Henderson, says there's a mystery guy that might be the real father, not her nephew. This whole maybe another dad twist really shakes things up, but the tea is still brewing.
Everything is not being said. There was another young man involved who was supposed to be these kids' dad. 2 years, now all of a sudden, my nephew is being blamed for these kids. Because if they was, why would you name another man saying that they was the dad?
Who is this young man? Do you know?
I don't know him personally.
Who is
No,
this
I
other
don't.
young man, Ms. McKeever?
The other young man that I was with, he ended up going away.
Ms. McKeever dives into the timeline of her romantic encounters, and let's just say it's complicated. Judge Lake looks like
that the window of conception was about 24th of December to the 31st.
Yes.
You say you were intimate with the...
And the DNA test came back. It said 0%.
But
so what I did was...
Do you have any evidence of that test?
and it's clear Mr. Arnold needs to get it together before it's too late.
So now you're here. Even if it's determined that you're not this child's biological father today, that does not change the legal issue you're faced with, is that you have been named this child's father by default for failure to show up. And then go from there, and there's no guarantee. Do you understand this?
Yes, Your Honor.
Here we go, the big moment everyone's been waiting for.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Arnold, you are his father.
Step up, baby. Just step up.
Okay, this case is about to get messy. The courtroom kicks off with the case of Tisby versus Quarterman, where Ms. Tisby believes Mr. Quarterman is the father of her daughter, Jordan, and has been dodging a DNA test. You can already tell this one's going to be full of wild twists and turns.
Ms. Tisby, you were in love with the defendant and claim he has been ducking your request for a DNA test for your daughter, Jordan. You and your mother say he better step up and be a daddy when today's results prove what you've always known, that he is Jordan's father.
Right off the bat, Mr. Quarterman throws some serious shade. He claims Ms. Tisby only shows up to ask for money and doesn't believe he's the dad. This is just the beginning, but you can already feel the room heating up.
Mr. Quarterman, you say the plaintiff is delusional and is only trying to use you for money, and when the results reveal you are not her child's biological father, you want her out of your life for good.
Correct.
Mr. Quarterman, you say she's using you for your money?
Anytime they come around, it's about money. Yes, ma'am.
Now it gets even more awkward. They can't even agree on what their relationship was. Ms. Tisby Tisby says they were together, and he even said I love you, while Mr. Quarterman claims it was just a casual fling. This whole were we or weren't we thing has everyone scratching their heads.
I felt like we was in a relationship because basically he was coming around the whole time. He even told me he loved me, so.
That sounds like a relationship. You
honestly,
love her, you come
I have
around
love
all
for her.
the time.
I have love for her, but not in love with her. She came about in a time in my life where, you know what I'm saying, I was kind of down and out, and me and her both was helping each other. The baby situation came about, you know, and I told her from the beginning since it was another guy.
And then, boom! Ms. Tisby's mom takes the stand and makes things way more dramatic. Just when you think it's all cleared up, a new twist jumps in.
No.
So wait a minute, you'd pick him up and bring him over to your house?
I bring it to him. We stayed next door to each other. We had a two-stair house. She stayed on one side of the house, and I had my own house. Basically, at night, he creeped at night, and sometimes I seen him sometimes in the daytime, but he basically was staying there at night.
Things get real emotional as Ms. Tisby talks about Jourdain's birth and some truly heartbreaking stuff. Emotions are running high, and it's clear this story has layers on top of layers.
When Jordan was born, Mr. Quarterman was there or not there?
No, he wasn't. When I was pregnant, I told him everything. He came when I was pregnant, holding my stomach and everything, doing all that. But now she's not yours.
Tell me about the birth.
On the 16th of April, I had her. On the 17th, they told me to come in the hospital because my little girl passed away.
Just when you think you've heard it all, Mr. Quarterman pulls out the Facebook proof. The judge and everyone else can't believe they're looking at Facebook evidence in court. Who knows what's next?
But she had posted some things online, asking, you know, I guess Facebook about am I the father or not.
What are you submitting to the court, sir?
I guess a Facebook post, she was asking Facebook, do I look like the child or, you know, whatever the case.
It's a split screen of baby Jordan.
Yes, ma'am.
And you. And she writes, do she look like him, yeah or nah?
For us to be in a relationship and everything like that, that is a booking photo for when I got arrested.
Get ready for the they totally look alike argument as Ms. Tisby's mom brings out baby photos. The courtroom's buzzing, and everyone's waiting to see if this who looks like who thing will actually help.
What evidence did you bring, ma'am? Let me see.
2 baby pictures. And one thing about it, Your Honor, just let me speak. I understand what he trying to say, but if you lay with somebody, you got to pay the cost. Y'all laid together, y'all stayed together, y'all been together. You could deny what you want to deny, but like I said, now when this baby come out to be yours.
Now things go from heated to about to explode as everyone argues. It's getting wild in here, and all eyes are on Judge Lake to see what she'll say next.
And that's why your daughter just handed up this particular evidence. The first picture is a picture of Mr. Quarterman as a baby, and then the next picture is a picture of Jordan. You feel like they look exactly alike.
Yes, ma'am.
And you say even his family members say.
Yes, both his mother. Yep. His mother said it. You see that little girl there? That's a princess. She everything to me.
And here it is, the big moment. Judge Lake opens the DNA results and drops the bomb.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Quarterman, you are not the father.
What?
Huh.
Shantina.
All right, this story is wild from the jump. Mr. Clark is suing Ms. Bailey to get a DNA test to see if he's the dad of her baby, Vanique, and wants $1,560 for some clothes she allegedly torched. This courtroom is about to get messy, folks, and we're just getting started.
Mr. Clark, you were suing the defendant for a DNA test and for $1,560 for damages you claim she caused to your property because you deny paternity of her 2-month-old daughter, Vanique. You say today you will prove you are not Vanique's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yep, you read that right. Ms. Bailey straight up admits to burning his clothes. She says she was 7 months pregnant, mad as a hornet, and couldn't handle that he left her for someone else. So she decided his clothes needed to go up in flames. But this bonfire is just the start of the drama.
Ms. Bailey, you say you were on fire when Mr. Clark left you for another woman while pregnant with his child.
Yes, I was.
You are 100% certain he is your daughter's father. Additionally, you are countersuing Mr. Clark for $300 for half of Vanique's child care expenses over the last 2 months.
If you thought this was just a breakup, Mr. Clark's cancer diagnosis takes this story to a whole other level. They're hanging on to that maybe with all they got, but we all know there's more drama coming.
During this relationship, started growing up big, like it was a big tumor on the side of his neck. And so we went to the hospital, he found out he had cancer. He started his chemo sessions and everything, but before then...
And you all were together when this happened?
Yes. They said, are you guys interested in having children? And we both no. And they was like, well, there's an 80% chance that he can't have children during his chemo.
So you know I can't have kids.
But there's still that 20% that he can.
Mr. Clark's doubts just keep getting getting louder, thanks to both science and his new girlfriend whispering in his ear. Oh, the plot thickens, and he's definitely not done talking.
Your doubt stems from the fact that as you're undergoing chemotherapy, you've been informed by your doc that this would affect your ability, possibly.
Yes.
And that's why they suggested to you freeze some of your sperm, because they knew that there was a chance that this treatment could affect your chances of having children.
Yes, ma'am.
You proceeded with your treatment.
Here comes the science. They even brought in a doctor to clear things up, and things got even more confusing. Looks like the science talk didn't help, and now everyone's looking around like, what now?
It depends on the type of chemo, the dose, the age of the patient. However, if you ask for general statistics, it is about 77%.
How old were you at the time you were receiving the treatment, Mr. Clark?
I started receiving treatments at the age of 26.
Well, as you can see, Ms. Bailey is focused
Well, I'm
on
just
that
going by what the doctor
20%
told me.
chance.
Unfortunately, it only takes one sperm.
Ms. Bailey gets super emotional here, hoping Vanique can have a dad, especially since she grew up without one herself. It's a tear-jerker moment, but we all know Mr. Clark still got doubts, and it's about to get real again.
Brings you to tears when you see your baby?
Yes.
Why?
She just needs a father.
And you really want that for her?
Yes.
I want you to take me to the birth.
He was there. He cut the umbilical cord and everything.
Really? So you were
Now
present
from
for the
there.
birth, Mr. Clark?
Yeah, I was there. She was too.
Really? Did you sign the birth certificate?
No, I was gonna sign that birth certificate, and she gave the baby my grandma's name and my last name.
Now it's money time. Ms. Bailey pulls out receipts showing she spent $600 on diapers, wipes, and formula in just 2 months, and she wants Mr. Clark to pay up. But trust me, that's far from the last argument we're gonna hear.
You've submitted receipts to the court of the expenses you've incurred thus far.
Yes.
As it relates to baby Vanique. About $50 a week on diapers, formula, and wipe.
I bought her
totaling
car,
about
I bought her car
$600.
seat, everything she needed.
Everything you paid for yourself. And Mr. Clark, you admittedly have not contributed anything.
No, ma'am.
And that's why your countersuit is for $300, half of $600.
Yes.
Now, Judge Lake doesn't mess around when it comes to burned clothes. He's got no problem telling Ms. Bailey she owes Mr. Clark $1,160 for turning his wardrobe into ashes. Ms. Bailey owes the money, but don't worry, the biggest shock is still on the way.
So, because you willfully destroyed his property, I have to award him the $1,560 from his clothing that you destroyed. Judgment for the plaintiff. Moving forward. I think we're ready for the results.
Burn no clothes no more.
You all done?
Yes.
A lot of unfinished business here. I hope you're taking note, Miss Hudson. You quiet over there. Just poke, both of you, back and forth. You can't even get the result.
Here comes the moment we've all been waiting for. DNA results are in, and it's a jaw-dropper.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Clark, you are not the father.
I wanted him to be the father. I wanted him to be there.
All right, folks, you won't believe what's about to go down in this courtroom. Judge Lake starts things off, introducing the case of Martin v. Pinner. Ms. Martin admits she made a big-time mistake around the time she got pregnant with her daughter, Royal Blue. Things are just heating up, and it's only the beginning.
Ms. Martin, you admit to making a huge mistake around the time you conceived your daughter, Royal Blue. You claim that one moment of weakness will cost you your fiancé if you cannot prove today that he fathered your child.
This relationship sounds like it's hanging by a thread. Ms. Martin shares that things are so bad that Mr. Pinner has moved out of the bedroom and now lives in the living room. The tension between these two is wild, and you can just tell there's more drama on the way.
Well, at this point, me and Romeo have no relationship because of the paternity of our daughter. I made one mistake back in the past that he knew about, and now he's claiming that he knows nothing about it.
The relationship is in turmoil.
Yes, he completely moved out of the bedroom. Like, he lives in my living room.
Oh, and here's where Mr. Pinner's side of the story kicks in. And trust me, it's not pretty. His trust issues are real, and this whole thing is starting to sound like a soap opera.
She says that she let me know right away, but it was a month later after she found out that she was pregnant. No, that's true. You know, when you feel like that is why would I fake it and just, be laying in the bed with somebody that's already lied to me, then I'd be dishonest to the relationship.
But you were laying in there before.
You were dishonest with me in the beginning, and you're dishonest with me now. The reason why I'm not sleeping in the bedroom is because I'm not sure if Royal is mine or not.
Now, Ms. Martin tries to explain her side, and it's, well, messy. Their stories do not match up, and the arguments are getting louder.
I'm going to tell her about the mistake. At the point in time, Romeo was doing him, as we say, partying, not coming home. I completely moved to Wisconsin with him. I even and said, if I come up here for you, I'm about you, we're gonna do our family thing. And when I got up there, it went totally left. He left me in the home by myself. It'd be days at a time before I saw Romeo.
Just when you think you've got the story straight, Mr. Pinner drops his version of the truth, and it's totally different. These two can't agree on anything, and it's all going off the rails.
So it's your testimony, Mr. Pinner, that she didn't tell you the day after the party. She told you 1 month after she was already pregnant.
Exactly, Your Honor. She said, well, I have something to tell you. When I had that party, I woke up the next morning. I'm pretty sure I had sex, but I don't know who it is. Like I said, that's very irresponsible. To this day, I don't even know the person's name.
Wait a month.
Who it was,
I told you the
anything.
next day. I was honest from the jump.
So, Ms. Martin?
Hold on, because now they're bringing up all their issues from way back. Mr. Pinner claims Ms. Martin changed after having their first child, started partying more. Judge Lake points out they've both been playing the blame game, and it's seriously messy. Like, how do these two even live together?
After she had our oldest daughter, she changed completely. I guess she felt like she missed something. She started to go out partying, kicking it, in clubs. We got a child. You leaving me here with the child. I work and go to work and try to take care of my family and provide.
You are turning this whole around.
I have made my
This
mistakes. Excuse me. I have had made my mistake. But at the same point in time, we were supposed to work with it.
Judge Lake isn't holding back here, giving some advice on why tit for tat never works out. The judge isn't sugarcoating anything, and you can feel the tension rising.
She moves to a different state, following behind you. When she gets there, you still out and about doing things. He out hanging out, he don't want to come home, I'll start partying. We hear this too much. Now, thing I tell women all the time, we lose the tit for tat every time because you lose your senses and you do something stupid and you get pregnant.
Yes, ma'am.
And here we go. Ms. Martin reveals she actually left Mr. Pinner during her pregnancy because things got so bad. Their arguments are all over the place, and it's hard to know who to believe at this point.
He participated for about 3 or 4 months.
That's not true, Your Honor.
He went to doctor's appointments with me, Your Honor,
yes, I did.
until I decided one morning I woke because he didn't come home. I packed everything I owned in that house and I went home. And it took him 24 hours to even realize it took all I had to pack up my daughter, me being pregnant, and all my clothes to go home, to leave this man.
Judge Lake takes a second to talk to Ms. Martin, who's clearly feeling guilty, and it's kind of intense. She says she regrets her mistakes and just wants her family back. This moment gets pretty real, and it makes you wonder if there's any hope for them.
Like I said, Ms. Martin, we never win this game of tit for tat. And I can see how hurt you are, because I'm sure when you moved and followed him to Wisconsin, this is not what you had in your mind.
No, ma'am.
And to be honest with you, Mr. Pinner, I'm sure this is not why you asked her to come. This is not what you planned either.
No, it wasn't.
This is not what you all had in your mind. And I can see, Ms. Martin, you are not proud of what you did. This is not who you are.
Judge Lake asks the million-dollar question if Royal Blue is his daughter. Would Mr. Pinner actually stay? He says he would, but he needs to let go of the past. Judge Lake tells him he can't keep bringing up the party if they're going to move forward, or they'll be back in court soon. This is the moment of truth. They're about to find out if he's really Royal Blue's dad.
If Royal Blue is your biological daughter, can you unpack that bag?
Yes, that's exactly what I want to do.
I'm a straight shooter in here now. When you unpack that bag, you have to unpack it with an intention to let go of the baggage of the past.
Yes, sir.
Now, you just can't unpack the bag and then on a random Wednesday just decide you're gonna get mad again because she had that party.
I understand what you're saying, Your Honor.
Or we'll be back here again.
All right, here we go. The big reveal.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Pinner, you are the father.
Thank God.
She was still sleeping with this man after Hannah was born. Your Honor, matter of fact,
Is that true, Ms. Zachary?
Yes, I was. Because we decided that we wasn't going to be together. We've been on and off for 5 years.
And we were on a break for a month. She just slept with him 2 weeks ago in my bed. She didn't go to his house. She didn't go to a hotel. It was the bed that we shared.
She came home, Your Honor. She sat next to me. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, I recognize that smell. I haven't had it in a while, but I recognize it. I said, you smell like sack. I don't know what you're at work.
I'm doing but I'm at work all day, but that's how I come home smelling, really?
Sometimes you tell me you be at work.
We're not going to say how you smell when you come home from work.
Well,
Judge Lake introduces Ms. Cousin and her mom, who dragged Mr. Bell into court, saying he's the dad of her 7-month-old baby, Taquan. Mr. Bell fires back, saying he's not the dad and insists it's all a plot to mess up his relationship.
Miss Cousin, you and your mother say you had no choice to drag the defendant, Mr. Bell, into court today because you're fed up with his lies. He denies being the father of your 7-month-old son, Taquan, and has even gone to the extreme by blocking all contact with you.
Ms. Cousin's mom doesn't hold back and launches into a full-on roast of of Mr. Bell, calling him a two-timing liar. With all this shade flying, Judge Lake turns her attention to Mr. Bell for his side of the story.
Fed up with his lies because he a two-timing liar. He told my daughter that he was single, that he was not in a relationship because I seen his picture on her phone. When she started being with him, I seen how her attitude changed. I knew then that she was pregnant. I met you at a relative house.
Things go up a notch as Ms. Cousin's mom spills the tea about receipts she found for lunches her daughter bought for Mr. Bell. Judge Lake raises her eyebrows at Mr. Bell, ready to hear what he has to say about these lunch dates.
A whole weekend, yeah. And then not only that, y'all had lunch together.
Can't she let her daughter talk?
She wasn't there. I go in her room, I found receipts with 2 combos on it. You know, at the end of the day.
2 combos
meal for lunch.
If she paying for it, of course I'm gonna take the food. She paying for it.
Yeah, and y'all in a relationship.
What you mean?
Destiny steps up, and wow, does she have a lot to say about how Mr. Bell used her like a walking ATM. The crowd is silent, waiting for Judge Lake's take on this bizarre relationship.
We met at this job that we was working at. When I first met him, he told me he wasn't with no one. I never slept with no one else at work. Every time I go out to get lunch, he right behind me. What you eating for lunch? Can you buy me something? Meet me downtown. Tell me can I pay his phone bill every time I get paid.
When she should have been.
Were you paying his phone bill?
Yes.
Just when you think this story can't get wilder, Destiny's mom reveals how she and her husband have been covering all of Taquan's expenses. Judge Lake gives Mr. Bell a sharp look, clearly ready to hear his excuse.
Because me and my husband have been doing it for the last 7 months, buying milk, strollers, walkers, baby bed, car seat, everything. That take a toll on me. Destiny was on a good route, somewhere to work. Once she got that job, fell into the footsteps of him. And today, I'm walking in her shoes. I've been taking care of Taquan.
Mr. Bell's response is so chill, you'd think he's talking about the weather. Judge Lake warns him to get real, reminding him that his version doesn't exactly add up. You can tell the judge is about to unleash some major truth bombs.
What was the nature of the relationship in your mind?
We met at work. I only seen her outside of work maybe twice. We was never together because I had to go home to her. I was staying with her and my kid.
Were you flirting with her at work?
Yeah.
Now it's getting juicy. Mr. Bell and Destiny go back and forth about who told him about the pregnancy first, with Mr. Bell insisting he heard it from her manager, not her. Judge Lake gives Mr. Bell a side eye that says, I'm not buying it.
She didn't tell you, she told the manager, and the manager told you.
And once I went to her and told her that it's not mine, the first thing, I don't want no baby by you anyway.
I don't want a baby by you anyway is different from the baby is not yours. Which did she say?
Both.
Why you lying?
Just give me up, man, so I can go on my life. You go find your baby daddy, man.
And now, the plot thickens as Mr. Bell's girlfriend, Ms. King, takes the stand, talking about how she found out about Destiny. Judge Lake's about to dig even deeper into this love triangle.
He gave me her name or whatever. I searched for her on Instagram. Of course I'm gonna search. I see Cortez is her profile picture, and I see her bio. She's like, oh, I love him. That's the one for me and stuff like that. So I requested her. I didn't really think nothing of it. It looked real immature to me because they didn't have physical pictures together. I wouldn't believe that they were in a real relationship.
Destiny doesn't hold back, setting the record straight by saying she and Mr. Bell were together 3 times, unprotected. Everyone's hanging on to see what he'll say next.
We slept together 3 times, unprotected, and he know that.
Where'd you all go?
We'll go anywhere.
Where we went? Where did we go?
In the car, it don't matter.
Where did we go?
And we went to the club with your cousin now. You know that.
So what you're saying is you all would go out but you didn't think he was in a relationship?
No, he told me he wasn't in a relationship when I first met him.
Hold on to your popcorn, because Destiny claims the one time Mr. Bell did see Taquan, he had the nerve to ask for, you guessed it, intimacy. You can tell the judge is just waiting for Mr. Bell to slip up even more.
Now, Destiny, you said he came to see the baby 1 time.
Yes,
but when he came to see the baby, he wanted to have sex.
He said, would you have sex with me? I was like, no. He's like, what, you scared of your boyfriend? And when he came, he had a flat tire. He asked to use my sister four-wayer to take the tire off. So my daddy was trying to help him. And when he came in to see Taquan, he said, oh, Taquan look like you and your mama.
Judge Lake drops the bomb.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Bell, you are the father.
Thank you, Lord Jesus. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Right from the jump, this whole thing is just bananas. Mr. Barlow's got 8 kids, and he says they all look like him, except for one, little Jabril, who he sure isn't his. Oh boy, things are about to get real messy.
Mr. Barlow, you say your 8 kids look exactly like you, but the defendant's son, Jabril, looks nothing like you. And that's because you're not his father, and you know who is.
Here we go, things are heating up. Mr. Barlow starts dishing out details about all these shady calls he made to Ms. Winslow while he was away. where she kept saying the landlord was over. The back and forth is pure drama, and we're not even close to done yet.
I believe she was sleeping with the landlord.
You do?
Yeah.
And that's not possible, Your Honor. The landlord.
Why do you believe that? What evidence do you have?
While I was away, I would call all the time because I got a long past of infidelity.
A very long history.
I left. When I went away, she said pay back some.
Okay, plot twist. The landlord is suddenly super generous and things get weird. Ms. Winslow explains that the landlord let her move in without a big deposit because she'd gotten scammed by another landlord. This story's only getting crazier and Mr. Barlow's side-eyeing gets worse.
What I went to do is get my lights cut on, and they told me that the place that I was trying to rent wasn't even rentable. Therefore, I'm driving around in a U-Haul with no place to go. I come across a landlord. I have no money. I just gave my $2,000 to a landlord. Okay, well, since you don't have anything right now, and I see you with your 3 children in a U-Haul truck, when you get the deposit back from the previous landlord, then you can start paying me.
If you thought this couldn't get more awkward, welcome to Mr. Barlow's jealousy issues. Mr. Barlow's convinced something's up, and the way he's talking, it sounds like he's about to start a conspiracy club.
You know what the real problem is, Your Honor? Mr. Barlow didn't know what the landlord looked like, so when he finally saw the landlord, he was like, oh, I thought the landlord, when he found out he was around our age, that's when his insecurities came in.
I came home one time, I just popped up, right? I pop up one time, they crossing the street. I think the dude is a stranger because I ain't never met him yet.
Now the plot thickens. Ms. Winslow drops a hospital mix-up bombshell. At this point, it feels like anything could be true in this saga.
He doesn't look like me or Mr. Barlow, so now that leads me to believe the only way that this baby is not this man's child, he's not mine. I believe something happened at the hospital, and it would devastate me, Your Honor. I have a strong connection with my son. Now, if this boy isn't my son, that means not only do I have to find out.
Judge Lake tries to wrap her head around the baby switch theory, and you can tell she's a little mind blown. You can feel the tension as Judge Lake walks out, and everyone's holding their breath for answers. It's about to get real.
You pulled up research, and this is research that talks about the fact that there are about 28,000 babies that get switched at birth in the hospital every year. Now, sometimes that's temporary, but sometimes permanently. And you have so much doubt, not just surrounding the paternity, you're the child's mother because everywhere you go, people are asking you.
Cue the dramatic return. Judge Lake announces that Ms. Winslow is, without a doubt, Jabril's biological mom, 99.999999% sure. So we finally have one answer, but Mr. Barlow's still on the fence. You know he's about to demand more proof.
These results state that the probability of maternity is 99.9999%. You, Ms. Winslow, are Jabril's mother.
That's all I needed to hear, Your Honor.
And I can see you're truly relieved.
It's a weight lifted off of my shoulder.
Time for some backstory, and it's juicy. Ms. Winslow lets loose about their on and off 11-year relationship, mentioning that Mr. Barlow has fathered multiple kids with other women while they were together. Mr. Barlow's jealousy is on full display, but the way this story's going, there's still more to come.
And I have never cheated on this man. I've been with this man for 11 years, off and on. He have not only had twins on me, but triplets as well. So it's not like a little simple thing like he hasn't done anything to me. Yes, as a woman, I stand here with my backbone, and I've accepted all of his wrongdoing.
Now things get official. Ms. Winslow whips out the birth certificate with Mr. Barlow's signature on it. That signature makes him legally responsible, whether or not he's the bio dad. It's getting intense, and you know it's all leading up to the big reveal.
The birth certificate, Your Honor, that Mr. Barlow so gracefully signed.
So, Mr. Barlow, this is your name?
Yes,
listed as the father on the birth certificate.
Yes, it is.
So
I was there during the delivery. I was there to sign the birth certificate because there's no way for me to say this is not my child. I got 9 children, and out of those other 8 children,
the moment everyone's been waiting for, DNA time.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Barlow, you are the father.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, this is about to get wild. Judge Lake introduces the case, Thomas v. Zachary, where Mr. Thomas wants a DNA test to find out if he's really the dad of little Hannah. And let me tell you, things are about to get messy real quick.
Mr. Thomas, you claim you've been petitioning the court system for a DNA test for 15-month-old Hannah Thomas for more than a year now.
Yes, Your Honor.
Right out the gate, Mr. Thomas goes off saying he's been begging for this DNA test for over a year. He says he signed the birth certificate because he was tricked. Yeah, This dude's ready to bring some major drama, and it's only just beginning.
Now, you've been notified that you will be paying support because you signed the birth certificate, but claim it was under false pretenses. Now, the court will decide whether there's reasonable cause to grant you a DNA test today.
Oh, and here comes Ms. Zachary, already calling Mr. Thomas out. She says he knew all along he'd be on the hook for child support since she had to apply for help. She's got a totally different story, and you can just feel the awkward tension building.
That is a lie, what he's saying. He knew that he was going to pay child support because I received a medical card. I also received cash assistance. I have to cooperate with child support in order to receive those assistance.
Me and Rakaya were separated towards July. August, we got back together, you know, towards the end of August, into September, she told me I feel pregnant. And we went to buy like maybe 4 or 5 pregnancy tests.
Mr. Thomas thinks he's got the timeline all figured out, saying he and Ms. Zachary got back together, and soon after she told him she was pregnant. He figured, hey, that's my kid. But oh boy, if only things stayed that simple.
Now, I found out that I was pregnant September 18th, to be exact with you. I went to that doctor's appointment and I came home. I handed him the papers. This is my results at the doctor. This is my proof of pregnancy.
No, Your Honor, I never received any paperwork, Your Honor. She said she was between 3 to 5 weeks. We got back together in August. We were having a lot of makeup sex, you can say. So I'm like, okay.
Now, here's where Mr. Thomas starts getting real suspicious. He says Ms. Zachary started looking way too pregnant for the timing she gave him. Things just weren't adding up for him. But little did he know, this was just the start of his head-scratching moments.
So you're doing the calculation in your mind and you say if baby was conceived in August, then...
More than likely, I didn't have any doubts that it was my baby. After a couple months, you know, I'm looking like, wow, you know, she's getting kind of big, kind of fast, you know? She's, 5, 6 weeks. What's going on?
Okay, so this doctor's visit really sends Mr. Thomas's brain spinning. He sees paperwork showing she's further along than she told him. And he's like, hold up, those dates don't match. But hey, it's about to get even weirder as they keep talking.
Went to the doctor, maybe probably was about 3 or 4 weeks later, and he was telling me like, look, you need to be honest about smoking a cigarette. Here's her paperwork. And he showed me the paperwork and it said 15 or 17 weeks or something like that. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute, y'all.
No.
Yes.
The doctors asked her, told her, encouraged her to stop smoking, but you also gotta look at the paperwork.
Now let's talk about that break. Mr. Thomas is all, a break doesn't mean you start dating other people. But Ms. Zachary's like, yeah, that's exactly what a break means. These two clearly need a dictionary, but wait till you hear what Mr. Thomas says next.
Break for us is, I'm leaving out the house, I'm gonna go to my parents' house for a while, or you leave and you go with your mom or something.
No, that's
like
not a break.
That was a break between us, and we were always back together within a month time. So it was still no excuse. A break is not an excuse to go sleep with someone and have a child by someone else at all.
Oh boy, this part's a doozy. Mr. Thomas says he signed the birth certificate after they had a secret deal. If her other guy stayed out of the picture, he'd keep things quiet. Not exactly the recipe for family bonding, huh?
And then you signed the birth certificate when you were at the hospital.
He had her sister come get the children. I came up to the hospital. I was with her the whole night, all until she had the baby. I was there. It was no problem. This was the agreement from the beginning. If the guy that I believe is Hannah's dad, if he didn't have any part, anything, I would sign a birth certificate and Hannah would never know a thing. This would be the biggest family secret that we ever had, and I had no problem with that.
Hold on to your popcorn, because this is where it gets even messier. Mr. Thomas drops the bomb that Ms. Zachary recently saw her other guy and even brought him to their shared home. Just when you think it can't get crazier, Ms. Zachary has something to say that'll make your jaw drop.
She was still sleeping with this man after Hannah was born. Your Honor, matter
of fact,
is that true,
Ms. Zachary?
Yes, I was. Because we decided that we wasn't going to be together. We've been on and off for 5 years.
And we were on a break for a month. She just slept with him 2 weeks ago in my bed. She didn't go to his house. She didn't go to a hotel. It was the bed that we shared.
Enter Mr. Hill, Mr. Thomas's uncle, who just adds fuel to this blazing fire. He says he doesn't think Mr. Thomas is the dad, and even claims Ms. Zachary once showed him a picture of the real father. It's like a soap opera at this point, and Mr. Hill isn't done stirring the pot.
I don't think that he is the father of Hannah.
You don't?
And the reason why is because she just don't look like him. And another reason, one time me and, Rakaya was hanging out in the house. They had got into it. He had left to get some air. She had actually showed me pictures. I don't know if she was mad or I don't know if she was in the feelings or something. I had never told him this, ever.
Here we go, because this phone bit is just pure chaos. Mr. Thomas finds a contact on Ms. Zachary's phone labeled Hannah's dad. That's not even his number. His trust is officially gone. And now a DNA test feels more necessary than ever.
I was going through her phone the other day. I see Hannah's dad.
Really?
I see the number in there, Hannah's dad, it put a smile on my face, I'm like, oh yeah, I've been gone for a couple weeks, she got my name under Hannah's dad, we're getting there, and I look at it and I'm like, hold on.
And I'm reading the text message, and I'm like, this isn't me. This isn't even my phone number. The rest of the kids come and tell me Hannah's dad was here.
Things get surprisingly sad here as Mr. Thomas pours his heart out about how much he loves the kids and worries he might lose his place in their lives. With the test coming up, all he can do is cross his fingers and hope.
Even my oldest daughter, she always, oh, when I'm gonna see my little sister? I don't walk around telling people this is not my daughter. All of her kids look at me like their father. I'm their father. When I get in from work, it can be 2 o'clock in the morning, it can be 5 o'clock in the afternoon. They're choking me to death, trying to get up and hug me. Hannah, she's jumping up and down when I come through the door. I love the kids just like they my kids, and they are my kids.
Here it is, folks, the big reveal.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Thomas, you are her father.
Whoa, talk about a wild start. Ms. Petty is telling the judge that she wants her daughter, Alea, to have a dad because she didn't have one growing up. And hold up, because things are about to get a lot messier. Just got a whole lot weirder. And we're not done yet. Wait, what? That's just the beginning of the roller coaster. Mr. Ball says he's sure he's not the dad because Alea has Mr. Daniels' last name on her birth certificate. Just when you think things couldn't get crazier, they totally do. Oh boy, here's where the judge gets real with them. Judge Lake tells Ms. Petty that she's repeating the cycle of her own childhood by having a kid with dad drama. And just when you think they're all gonna calm, it's got a whole lot more awkward. Ms. Petty talks about how she had to deal with a bunch of bullies in school because she was dating for the least of her problems compared to what's happening now.
When I first met Mr. Ball, I fell in love with him.
In cycles of your own,
Yes.
and yet you still stepped in.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's commendable.
And
you all had another sexual encounter that day.
I wasn't even trying to that day.
But
I promise you.
The moment everyone's been waiting for, the DNA results.
Is the biological father. Mr. Ball, you are her father.
Now here's the kicker. Mr. Richardson signed the birth certificate even though he wasn't even sure he was the dad. She's saying he had every chance to back out, but now he's regretting it. Things are about to get even more awkward.
Mr. Richardson, you claim you made a huge mistake. You signed the birth certificate of the defendant's 2-month-old son, DeMarlon, even though you doubt you are his father. You want to prove your case before you end up paying child support for a baby you know isn't yours.
And here's where it starts getting hilarious. Mr. Richardson says he had doubts because the baby looked, well, way too light. Judge Lake reminds them that looks aren't everything, but Mr. Richardson is still side-eyeing the whole thing. You won't believe how they met.
When I saw the baby, he was so white. He looked like a Mexican or something. He was just real light.
Mexican, that doesn't matter. Children come in all shapes and sizes, and he just spent 9 months or more in the womb.
That's true. Yana, you gotta realize, when I was dating her, she was very sneaky.
Believe it or not, this whole situation started in a club of all places. Mr. Richardson remembers meeting Ms. Robbins there, and right off the bat, she told him she was married, but kind of hinted she'd be open to hanging out. Now, they're bringing up the night DeMarlon was conceived.
I met her at a club, came, approached her, didn't think she was gonna give me the time of day or nothing.
So he pursued me.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. I did pursue you.
For a long time.
And we got to talking, and then she told me, she said, I'm married, but I'm willing to maybe see you or something, play around with you.
Things get weirdly specific as Ms. Robbins describes the night they think they made DeMarlon, a night she calls a blessing for her new home. The judge is just trying to keep a straight face at this point. Wait till you hear about the pregnancy test.
Is DeMarlon's biological father?
No doubt. And I know that, like, the night we conceived, it was me and him. I remember a lot. He doesn't even remember, like, people's names, his middle name. He don't remember nothing. So how are you going to say that you remember the night that we conceived when you can't even remember what the next...
Do you remember the night?
I remember the night.
Okay.
This part gets even stranger when they when they take the pregnancy test together, but Mr. Richardson is still acting like he's not totally convinced. Pretending gets him through for now, but it's clear he's full of doubts, and he's about to lay out his reasons.
What do you want to do? I said, we're gonna have the baby because we're doing some stupid stuff. Not gonna blame this child. We're gonna have it.
So you decided that we should have the baby?
You were pretending like you were happy?
That's nice. That's nice. And still be with me the whole time.
Sneaky, but I mean,
like, I don't get it.
I mean, because
of what? I'm sorry.
Pregnant sex.
Okay.
Just when you think it couldn't get worse, Mr. Richardson drops more reasons why he's not buying this whole dad thing. Mr. Richardson feels it's just one more reason not to trust the situation, but then he starts questioning her finances.
Mr. Richardson, please tell me if there's any other reason you have doubt.
I went to one doctor's appointment with her, right? And then I went to go to the other ones. She told me, no, you don't have to come.
I don't need you to hold my hand.
I don't need you to hold my hand.
You're telling me he's not mine, this is not my baby, all this the whole time. So why would I let you be a part of that?
Now, Now, we dive into the money mystery. Mr. Richardson wants to know where Ms. Robbins suddenly got cash for Christmas. Ms. Robbins is just rolling her eyes, saying she got it all legit. Next up, things get personal as he accuses her of cheating.
Christmas time, she just moved into our new place. She had to put down $2,800. She was complaining to me that I have no Christmas money to buy.
But I didn't ask you for any money at that time either, did I?
She come up with all this money after she put this down payment on her to move in our place. And I said, where you get this money from? She told me, I got it from my 401k. I said, that fast?
Well, I have been on my job as what they call a Christmas account.
And here's where things get spicy. Mr. Richardson thinks Ms. Robbins was out with someone else because she came home smelling like intimacy. Judge Lake tries to keep the peace, but Mr. Richardson's doubts are getting bigger by the second. And then there's the whole missed DNA test appointment.
She came home, Yana. She sat next to me. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, I recognize that smell. I haven't had it in a while, but I recognize it. I said, you smell like sack. I don't know what you're at work.
I'm doing but I'm at work all day, but that's how I come home smelling, really.
Sometimes you tell me you been at work.
We're not going to say how you smell when you come home from work.
Well,
here's the kicker. Ms. Robbins actually had an appointment for a DNA test, but ended up canceling it, which only makes Mr. Richardson more suspicious. Judge Lake points out that dodging the test looks pretty fishy. By now, the judge has had enough.
She made an appointment. We supposed to split 135. It was 2 something to go get a DNA test. She said, I set an appointment. I'm going to come at 4:30. 3:30 come, sitting around. Okay, appointment's at 4:30. 4 o'clock come, we sitting around. 4:15, we sitting around. I'm like, what's up? And I asked her.
But did you go to the appointment?
No, Yana.
This case hits a boiling point as Judge Lake starts calling them out for all this back and forth nonsense. But finally, she's about to reveal the results, and everyone's on edge.
This is honest, Miss Robbins. Whether he's right or wrong, only the DNA is going to be able to decide that. He feels like what you say has no credibility. Because when you met him, you not married, then you was married, then you got to get your divorce decree online. You don't have a physical copy of it. And in this moment in time, you have the opportunity to resolve all of this and shut him up.
Judge Lake decides to really push Ms. Robbins on why she dodged the DNA test that could have solved all of this. The judge gives both of them a piece of her mind about all these games. And now, here come the DNA results.
That looks like you dodging the test.
But I'm not, though.
We got the appointment.
We were going
to reschedule it now. Why?
We rescheduled it because I told him that we could do it at a later.
Was it because he was already on the birth certificate and you felt like, you know what, you're the legal father anyway, so I really don't have to get up out of my bed.
No, I really didn't care about
playing games and being silly while DeMarlon is still on pause.
At long last, the big reveal is here.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Richardson, you are the father.
You won't believe this? Stay tuned as this is about to get seriously messy. Mr. Andrews and his mom are suing Ms. Corbett, saying she faked his signature on their kid's birth certificate. And trust me, it's just getting started.
Mr. Andrews, you and your mother are in court today suing your ex, Ms. Corbett, for paternity fraud because you claim she forged your signature on the birth certificate of her 5-month-old son, who you believe is not your biological son.
Things are heating up as Mr. Andrews spills the tea on the day of the baby's birth, and you'll want to see who jumps in next with their side of the story.
Day of the birth, I cut the umbilical cord. I requested a blood test. I stayed at the hospital for like 24 hours, and the following day I ended up leaving to retrieve a car seat. I didn't sign nothing.
You claim somebody put your name on the birth certificate.
Yeah, obviously.
No, it's no way possible for me to just put his name on a birth certificate. The only reason why he's saying that he did not sign the birth certificate is because his mother told him not to sign my child's birth certificate.
If you thought things couldn't get wilder, think again. Mr. Andrews throws out a big one, accusing Ms. Corbett of, well, seeing the whole neighborhood. Judge Lake steps in, telling everyone to keep it respectful, but we all know it's about to get even juicier.
I wouldn't even call it a relationship, Your Honor, because she slept with the whole damn city, the whole neighborhood.
Let's use respectful language in the courtroom.
She slept around with everybody in our neighborhood.
If that was true, I would have slept with her husband because he wanted me to.
Oh, Lord.
That's a lie.
Okay, let's stay on track.
Now, here's where things go full detective mode. Mr. Andrews pulls out a diagram of the apartment, explaining why he thinks Ms. Corbett had another guy over. But wait until you hear about the mystery text.
Your Honor?
What does this diagram show?
This right here is a 2-story apartment building. This right here, like 2 feet from the driveway, is like the front entrance. And you could sit right here and like literally watch all this. And if somebody murdered him over here, it'd be real obvious. The guy she had in there tried to creep around and sneak on this side of the building and come out. She even had a bike in inside the house.
Just when you think this can't get crazier, in comes Mr. Andrews with another bombshell. Ms. Corbett rolls her eyes, calling him a liar. But hang on, because next, it's about the baby.
Is this your only doubt?
No, ma'am. Phone messages in her phone where some guy obviously was telling her, leave the back door open and be naked when I arrive.
Oh, you saw the message?
Yes, ma'am. She denied that in my face. I'm looking at the message in the phone. That's one reason.
Miss Corbett?
That's like the third third reason, the other reason I just showed you on the diagram.
And now it's accusation central. Ms. Corbett claims Mr. Andrews barely sees the baby and once even threatened to drop him off at a fire station. But she's about to lay down the law about what really matters here, paternity.
So how many times have you seen Quinn Jr.?
Over a dozen times.
So you spent quality time with him?
He does not. I have to beg him for to come get my child. He was there 6 days. I told Quinn, I said, Quinn, you have to come meet me somewhere. I can't drive all the way down there. He was gonna drop my child off at a fire station.
Your Honor, I told her that just to get her to move because she lied to me and told me she was threatening me with the police.
Surprise, surprise.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Andrews, you are the father.
Let it be known.
Those first week or two, we had sex like 4 or 5 times a day.
So you had it in your mind that if I get my wife pregnant, she'll stop stripping.
Kind of like how she just said, I'm gonna strip and I'm gonna do whatever I want because that's what I'm gonna do. I said, oh really? Okay, I'll give you a 9-month break on me. I mean, so.
Things kicked off wild and it only got crazier from there. She's certain his denial is all because of his girlfriend's influence. This sounds simple, but trust me, it's anything but.
Ms. Caples, you say you are 100% certain that the defendant is your 15-month-old son, Jason's biological father, and today he's going to put his name on the dotted line right in front of his girlfriend.
The relationship status was about as confusing as it could get. You'd think things would be easy after that, but wait till you hear what's next.
What was the nature of this relationship?
To be completely honest, Your Honor, me and Mr. Harris, we were never in a relationship. Let's clarify that now. We were just sleeping together. That's pretty much it.
Were you in another relationship?
No, I was not, no.
I wasn't.
You find out you're pregnant. Obviously, you weren't using protection if there's a question that he's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
And right when you thought you'd figured it out, another guy pops into the story. Miss Caples admits she did date someone else, but it was after she got pregnant with Jason. This timeline is all over the place.
So who's this other guy that was in the picture?
After me and Mr. Harris were done and over with.
You were already pregnant at the point you started dating the other man?
Correct. And I have an exhibit if I could show you.
Absolutely. Please step over to the podium.
Thank you. As you can see, my son Jason was born January 9th, 2016. Me and Mr. Harris were intimate for 9 months, all the way up until May, the beginning of May.
If you thought things were weird before, now it's exhibit a time. But Mr. Harris is like, maybe? Since he was apparently seeing other women too and doesn't remember the exact dates. I mean, could this case get any messier?
Mr. Harris, if you don't remember whether or not you were with her, is it because you were involved more than one woman? So that's why you really can't say for certain who you were with on what date. Now, Ms. Caples, I have to ask you, were you involved with more than one man?
No, I was not, and he did not tell me that he was dealing with other women while me and him were talking. So I did not know that he was playing the
Men usually don't tell you. They want to keep
getting. She went through my phone and texted other women back.
This part, total shocker. Just when you think you've heard it all, the story somehow gets even more awkward.
When we contacted Mr. Harris and told him that Ms. Shatera Caples summonsed him for a DNA test, he said, I don't know who you're talking about. I said, Muffin?
That is correct.
I'm pretty sure I told him my name. Would you remember Shantira or would you remember Muffin? Would I go by around town?
If you having sex for that many months with the same person without using any protection, you gotta at least know their name.
Just when it seems like it can't get worse, we learn Mr. Harris wasn't there when Jason was born. You'd think things couldn't get more uncomfortable, but oh, they do.
Did he get to come to the delivery room?
He didn't have a ride, Your Honor.
He didn't have a ride?
Have a ride.
No, I was at the work when she delivered the baby. The next morning I came up there and I looked at him. He didn't look like me at all.
No, he does
and
not.
I had my doubt. I had been had my doubts, but like I say, everybody around town says that she goes around saying it's another guy's baby.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
No, I did not.
Because you did not want to, or you were not even asked?
And here's where the cringe hits max level, as if things weren't heated enough already.
Hold on, what is this about the hospital room, Ms. Caples?
She was undergoing surgery, getting ready to have my tubes tied.
That is my job.
Your Honor, as a woman, I would not want to be in a room with a woman that's having my boyfriend's baby.
Okay, so you were the patient. You work at the hospital, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then that was where they told you your station or where you were supposed to be? You were assigned to that?
Today, we got our stuff to do. Yes, ma'am.
Things got intense as Mr. Harris admits he wasn't so sure Jason was his son, thanks to rumors and Miss Caples' comments. Now, everyone's on edge to see if he's the dad or not.
Have I heard all your doubts, Mr. Harris?
A lot of people around town telling me it's not mine. Let's say that's her words.
People are telling you he's not yours. Then she even says he's not yours.
Keep pushing me away while I'm trying to be there for the child.
But you don't think
it's
he's
kind
yours,
of like he's not.
So why would I keep? That's why I don't want to include you.
That's the reason for that.
1 minute you don't think he's yours.
All right, that's what we're here to solve today. That's exactly why this courtroom exists.
The moment finally arrived and the tension was through the roof. Judge Lake reads the DNA results. Mr. Harris is not Jason's father, but Judge Lake isn't done with them just yet. She's got some parting wisdom.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Harris, you are not the father.
Thank you.
This case kicks off with a wild claim. Ms. Bailey, along with her daughter, is suing Mr. Parker, her daughter's estranged husband, for a cool $3,691.50 in childcare costs. And believe me, it only starts getting juicy. Ms. Bailey says Mr. Parker ditched her daughter when she was 16 weeks pregnant, leaving her to fend for herself without any help. And trust me, the accusations only get weird. Things are heating up. Mr. Parker claims Ms. Bailey's daughter neglected him, saying she refused to feed him and made him feel worthless. And guess what? The drama's just getting started.
The last few days there, Your Honor, she told me that I wasn't worth nothing, I was not allowed to eat, that I was not allowed to be a part of this family.
That's a lie.
Just when you think it can't get any stranger, Mr. Parker claims Ms. Bailey's daughter put a padlock on their bedroom door to keep him out. But wait till you hear what Mr. Parker says next. Couldn't get any wilder. Mr. Parker insists he was kept off the baby's birth certificate, which he says proves she's hiding something. And just when you think you've heard it all, Mr. Parker's mom steps in. It's family drama time as Charlotte Perez, Mr. Parker's mom, testifies, accusing Ms. Bailey's daughter of leaving Mr. Parker at her house anytime she needed a break. Judge Lake's patience is about to be seriously tested.
My son, they had one car that he bought, so she would have a car for her and these children.
He was able to buy that car because he claimed me and my child on his tax.
But it don't do no good if you don't work, stay on welfare and food stamps.
You know,
all right.
This whole scene has turned into pure chaos, and Judge Lake has had enough. You won't believe this whole thing kicks off with Ms. Richardson coming in strong, saying she and Mr. Smith were all in, trying to have a baby on purpose. Buckle up, folks. This one's gonna be a ride.
Ms. Richardson, you say you were in an exclusive relationship with Mr. Smith and even tried to have a baby together. But after you conceived your daughter, Kalani, Mr. Smith started denying your baby.
Yes, Your Honor.
You intend to prove he is the father today.
Okay, things get even crazier as Ms. Richardson says Mr. Smith actually begged her to have a baby with him because he thought he might not live long. This wild story is just getting started, and believe it or not, it's about to get even wilder.
Around the time we were together for about 8 months, he had told me he was in a situation where he didn't know if he were going to live a long time, so he had said he wanted a child with me. Me being young and dumb and I was actually in love with him, I agreed on it. We were together. I had left Job Corps, which he was still in. I left on the 28th. On the 31st, I had sent for him to come in town for the weekends.
Judge Lake has zero chill and jumps in right away to give Ms. Richardson some real talk. You just know the judge is about to drop even more truth bombs.
You cannot have babies by everybody you feel like you fall in love with. I can see, we about 3 minutes in, and I can see that you decided you had fallen in love with him. And from there on, everything you heard come out his mouth, because he stood right here and the second thing out of his mouth was, I really wasn't trying to be with her that long, but if we wanted to have a baby and she wanted to do it, okay. Everything is so nonchalant.
Things go from sweet to awkward real fast. Ms. Richardson says she told Mr. Smith she was pregnant, and he was way too quiet on the phone. He kind of mumbled that he wanted to see the pregnancy test, but had doubts from day one, even though he says he was excited. Mr. Smith explains his mixed feelings, while Ms. Richardson says there was no way she cheated. Drama alert.
What was his reaction?
He was quiet on the phone and he had asked to see the pregnancy test.
And so, Mr. Smith, when you got this news that she was pregnant, was it the news you wanted to hear? Were you excited about having a baby?
I actually was excited.
At what point do you feel doubtful then?
Well, I was doubtful at the first.
You were?
Yes, I was.
And now, Mr. Smith's twin sister, Brianna, steps in to pour some fuel on the fire. Things just got real messy.
She would say stuff that would make him feel even more like Kalani's not his daughter. I would hear voicemails. I would see messages.
And what did these voicemails say?
She was upset at him. She just was saying how Kalani was sitting. She was with another dude and she was smiling and she was happy about the person, basically insinuating. Yeah.
Looked just like her.
Oh, here's a twist. Enter Mr. Brock, the Godfather, who's here to set things straight, or at least try to. But don't worry, it's about to get even more awkward.
What is your relationship exactly with Ms. Richardson?
I'm gonna keep it real with you. I would die for Brianna, and I'll take my last breath for that little girl up on the screen right there. And that's my goddaughter. And it's just because I've built that relationship with them that quick. We've told each other things that I have told nobody else.
Oh God, this is so exhausting. You all are all
all just kids.
Exactly.
And everything is so intense.
Next up, Ms. Bagley, the twins' mom, is here with her own roller coaster of emotions, saying she really wants Kalani to be her granddaughter. And if you think that's heartfelt, just wait until the DNA bombshell drops.
Do you believe Kalani is your granddaughter?
Yes, I do. They always did have problems, but I stayed neutral, because I didn't want to get in between not seeing her because I'm on my son's side, but he was holding the baby and kissing on her. I'm like, I don't even know this guy. Do my son know this guy? If you're a godfather, why we don't know you?
Judge Lake calls for everyone to focus on Kalani, saying, all right, enough of this drama, let's get real. The room is silent as they prepare for the DNA results, and you can feel the tension.
You all have all been through a lot, and because of that, you all are taking actions, like I said, that really don't support Kalani. And in this moment, let's all just refocus as we go forward to these results.
Finally, the moment of truth.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Smith.
Get ready, because this one starts off strong. Mr. Hunter opens the case with a big claim. He doesn't think he's the dad of Ms. Holden's son, Josiah. But Ms. Holden, she says she's 100% sure he's the dad. The stage is set for a wild back and forth.
Mr. Hunter, you opened your case in paternity court because you say there is no way you fathered the defendant's son. She's only saying you did because of the financial security you provide for her. Ms. Holden, you admit you were confused about your son's biological father because you were given incorrect medical information, but you are 100% certain Mr. Hunter is the father.
Brace yourselves, folks, because this guy's doing dad duties even with big doubts. Mr. Hunter explains he's been buying everything from diapers to baby clothes for Josiah. Things are getting complicated real quick, and this is only the beginning.
Because I take care of him financially, I do everything. Buy him diapers, milk, I buy clothes. Everything a father has to do to take care of a child, I do it.
So you're pretty much stepped up as a father.
Yes, ma'am.
You have, but you have doubt. But Miss Holden, has he gotten emotionally attached to Josiah as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
So pretty much has accepted this child as his own?
Yes.
This story of how they got together has some interesting twists. Judge Lake thinks it's sweet, but we all know there's more to this romance than just cake and good deeds.
Well, we lived on the same street. I met him when I was 15. We both was in a relationship. Then we both became single. I invited him over to and he offered to pay for the booth at the party and offered to buy the cake.
Did you have any benefits in the back of your mind that you were looking to get later?
No, ma'am.
You didn't. Just a nice guy. Pleasant and refreshing, right, Jerome?
Hold up, they can't even agree on what happened the first night. Ms. Holden says they got cozy on her birthday, but Mr. Hunter says, nope, that didn't happen. If they can't even agree on this, it's gonna be a long, bumpy ride.
So at what point did you all turn this platonic friendship into a sexual relationship? Did you what about dating? How did this happen?
The night of the party, we both was intoxicated.
Oh.
I invited him over,
yeah, but that
and
night,
one thing led to another.
That night we didn't sleep.
Yes, we did, Your Honor.
So on the birthday night, you said you did have sex, and Mr. Hunter, you say you did not.
Yeah, we did that night.
Things are getting messy, folks. They argue about using protection. Hunter says yes, Ms. Holden says no. And wait until you hear about how she dropped the pregnancy news on him.
So were you having sex with protection?
No.
Here we go. You all haven't agreed on one thing yet. Who said yes?
She said no, I said yes, we were using protection.
No, we wasn't.
That's what we call reasonable doubt in a criminal court. So now listen, you're having sex. One says you're using protection, one says you're not. Are you having sex with anybody else?
When Ms. Holden tells Mr. Hunter she's pregnant, it's pure drama. Just when he thought things couldn't get worse, she tells him there might be another dad possibility. Get ready for a bombshell about the birth certificate.
So when you find out you're pregnant, you got one friend that you dating that Mr. Hunter is aware of, and now you've also made this friend, Mr. Hunter, into a sexual partner. When you get pregnant, who do you tell?
Mr. Hunter.
What happened?
I called him over, and he came over, and I was so sleepy, and he was like, you must be pregnant because I'm sick.
This is a real wait, what? Moment. Ms. Holden admits she put another guy's name on Josiah's birth certificate, even though Mr. Hunter has been the one paying for everything. And yep, we're about to dive into due date confusion.
Did you put Mr. Hunter's name on the birth certificate, Ms. Holden?
No, Your Honor.
Did anybody bring a copy of that birth certificate?
I have evidence.
I'd like to see that. This is Josiah's birth certificate?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hunter, is that your last name under?
No, ma'am.
Whose last name is that, Ms. Holden?
The other guy.
The other guy.
Oh, you think this story makes sense? Think again. It's like a math puzzle gone wrong, and the suspense just keeps climbing.
In November the 15th, this is when I slept with Mr. Hunter. I went to the doctor. My first due date they gave me was August 2nd. I went back to the doctor, and they gave me August 9th, and I slept with the other man on the 18th of November.
When you had the original due date, for you counted back.
Yes, that Mr. Hunter was the father.
Grab a tissue, folks, because this part's kind of sweet. Mr. Hunter shares that he's grown attached to Josiah, who's just started calling him Dada. What he says next makes everyone's heart break a little more.
You know, Mr. Hunter, I can see this really bothers you.
I mean, it bothers me because I'm starting to get attached. He recently just started coming to me, so.
But you know this baby is coming to you because he thinks you are his daddy.
Right.
And you're starting to form a bond.
I mean, he recently just started calling me Dada, so, you know.
That's a beautiful thing when you hear a child say that.
Ms. Holden opens up about her own past, and things get real. Judge Lake gives her a soft look, knowing what's at stake, and the audience braces for the DNA results.
Because I grew up without a father. It affected me emotionally because I was into sports. I didn't have a father figure there to support me. And now I have a little boy that might be a football. He need a father there to support him.
And your fear is Mr. Hunter will leave or not be as present in this child's life if it's not his biological child?
Yes, Your Honor.
Talk about a jaw dropper.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Hunter, you are not the father.
Guys, oh boy, you're not gonna believe what you're about to see here. She's hoping to save their family by proving he's the dad, while Mr. Cottle says if he isn't, he wants his name off the birth certificate ASAP. And trust me, this is just the warm-up.
Mr. Cottle, you say you're not a doctor, but when a woman is having sex with more than one man at the same time, the odds are against you. And once the results reveal you aren't the father, you want your name off the birth certificate.
Just when you think it can't get crazier, Ms. Wolf talks about her ex, Lucas, cheating on her with her friend. So she took it as her sign to get back at him. Trust me, things are only heating up.
We met on a dating site, and I moved in with him about a week after meeting him. 2 weeks in our relationship, I invited my friend to come hang out with me. While I was sleeping, I woke up and I went to the bedroom door. The door was locked, so I kept pounding on the door for them to open it, and I saw my friend's underwear on the floor. So right then and there, I knew that they had sex, and then I asked them. I was like, yeah, we did have sex, I'm sorry.
Just when you think there can't be more people involved, here comes Mr. Chittum, Ms. Wolf's ex-boyfriend, who's ready to tell his side of this tangled story. If you think it's a lot now, wait till you see what's next.
You were in a relationship with Miss Wolf first.
That is correct, Your Honor.
And you started a sexual relationship?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then she said she invited her friend to come, and you and the friend slept together.
That is correct.
So now how do you find out that Miss Wolf was then intimate with your friend, Mr. Cottle?
One of my friends texted me.
What did she say?
She was pretty much denying it all.
The judge pulls out some Facebook photos that make the whole thing even wilder. And yep, things just keep getting weirder from here.
Is the court uncovered a couple of Facebook photos. Now this is you, Ms. Wolf, kissing Mr. Chittum.
Yes.
And on the bottom of that screen, which you can't see, you were a Dallas Cowboy fan.
Yes, Your Honor.
Then we uncovered this photo. This is you and Mr. Cottle in pretty much the exact same pose, but a different team, because this one says Seattle Seahawks.
All right, so here's where things get real. Ms. Wolf tries to deny it, but the polygraph says otherwise, making Mr. Cottle wonder what else he might be missing. Just wait though, there's more to come.
Mr. Chittum, you met with a certified polygraph expert, and you were asked the following question. Did you have sexual intercourse with Ms. Wolf during her pregnancy with Zane? You said yes. The lie detector determined you were being truthful.
Yes, that is truthful.
Only up till
I was pregnant, and you knew that.
Things take a cringe-worthy turn when Judge Lake reads some pretty spicy messages Ms. Wolf sent Mr. Chittum. Spoiler alert, it's about to get even messier.
So this message was from approximately 3 weeks ago. Are you joking me? He does nothing for you? God, he got me so angry. Come blank me. It doesn't say talk, but it says come blank me. He answers why, and you answer I need blank.
This next part has everyone in the courtroom's jaws dropping. Trust me, this story is one for the books, and there's still more to go.
So, Ms. Wolf, why are you so convinced Mr. Chittum is not Zane's biological father?
I have evidence.
Oh, you haven't. This conception calculator indicates you were ovulating between the 22nd and the 27th?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you tracked this. I mean, it is possible for a woman.
I planned it, yes.
Oh, you tracked it and you planned it?
Yes, because at the time I loved Lucas. Lucas, and I knew he couldn't have kids, and I wanted us to have a family.
It's time for the DNA reveal, and no one's breathing in this courtroom. Judge Lake opens the envelope, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Cottle. You are the biological father.
Oh, buckle up, because this case is wild from the start. He's here asking for a paternity test to figure things out, but hold on to your popcorn. It's about to get even juicier.
Mr. Threlkeld, you state that while you were out of the country serving in the military, your wife paraded around town with other men, and she has admitted to cheating multiple times. You claim you are not sure if you are the father of her third child, 18-month-old Liliana, and have asked the court for a paternity test.
This story is so crazy it sounds made up, but here we go. While he was in Afghanistan, Mr. Threlkeld got a super random tip that his wife was stripping. And trust me, the courtroom isn't ready for what Mrs. Threlkeld has to say next.
Actually, ma'am, I was overseas in Afghanistan. A soldier of mine came up to me and tapped me on the boot, said, hey, I need to go outside. We need to talk right now. Me and him got into some words, so I thought we were going to, settle it. Well, it turns out his wife and my wife were friends, and she had found out that she was actually stripping as we spoke. At the time, the internet lounge got on Facebook and asked her, hey, is it true you're doing what I told you I didn't want you doing at all?
Wait till you hear this. She says she wasn't doing anything wrong and only started exotic dancing because her husband wasn't bringing in enough cash. Her reasons don't really make it better, and you just know things are about to get even messier.
First of all, we were done. He hacked my Facebook. He invaded my privacy. He looked into my stuff, into my messages.
So
that's how we found out.
What did he find?
There were messages, but...
Actually, ma'am, see, she's gonna... No. That's already a lie. I got on there, and on the inbox, I see, oh, baby, I can't wait to see you later on tonight. I had a great time with you. I went together. It's been amazing.
These are the messages you're seeing.
And here's the part where they totally disagree on whether they were done or not. Just wait, because what he says next is about to make everything way more complicated.
You thought your marriage was over?
Messed up as it may be.
Yes.
Because you all had an argument about you stripping and you hung up.
We hung up and we said it was done because I wanted to do what I wanted to do.
You wanted to do what you wanted to do.
Exactly.
And why is it that you wanted to strip?
Because we got married too young. Well, I needed to
She wanted to be a hooker in training,
will
so
you
she'd
just
start
let
stripping?
me talk?
Well,
No.
Just when you think it can't get sadder, we find out about Mr. Threlkeld's heartbreaking return. His frustration only grows, and things are far from over as they head to the next explosive moment.
When I actually went out, the day I was supposed to come back home from overseas, we were told before we even got on the plane that the news was going to be there. I get there, and not my father, my mother, my wife, like I said, we'll quote that, weren't even there. They call everybody's names up, everybody's clapping and cheering. They come to my name, and it's just dead quiet. No one was there. So as everybody's getting ready to go home, I'm sitting there with my bags. I didn't even have a phone yet, so I couldn't even call her. I'm sitting there under a street light, army bag on one side and a suitcase on the other.
Now this part is straight out of a soap opera. He decides to call up the guy his wife's been chatting with, but it's not exactly the convincing response he was hoping for, and things just keep heating up with the next argument.
Because I saw the guy, she hadn't fully admitted that she's been seeing this guy, so I snatched the phone from her and I started going through it. There was a number that she'd called like 13 times, so I called him right back. And he answers the phone, hey, I said, who is this? Are you the one that's... And now her defense, she starts laughing, saying, I knew he was just going to say that. He's just saying that to make you mad. And it was ridiculous. I mean, that was just the only defense.
So when he calls the guy on the phone, you deny.
What was he thinking? Kind of moment. Mr. Threlkeld reveals he thought a baby might actually fix things. His plan didn't go exactly as he thought, and now things are about to get even more awkward.
When I got back home, within those first week or two, we had sex like 4 or 5 times a day.
So you had it in your mind that if I get my wife pregnant, she'll stop stripping.
Roger.
Because that's going to definitely
what she
be
tells me, kind of like how she just said, I'm going to strip and I'm going to do whatever I want because that's what I'm going to do. I said, oh, really? Okay, I'll give you a 9-month break on me. I mean, so.
Here's where the drama gets cranked up. He wanted her to take a lie detector test to settle his doubts once and for all. The shocking stuff just keeps coming as we finally get closer to finding out the truth about Liliana.
Mr. Threlkeld, you asked your wife to take a lie detector test at some point.
Before she came back, I said, look, obviously the path we're going down right now isn't a good one. My insecurities, I'd like you to take a lie detector test. And she kept saying, oh, yeah, it's fine, I'll do it, no big deal. She starts, getting nervous. I could start telling from body language and, tone of her voice, she was getting nervous.
We don't need a lie detector test, we just need communication.
This is where it gets brutal. Mrs. Threlkeld admits there's only a 50-50 chance that Liliana is her husband's daughter. It's a super tense moment for everyone in the room, and just when you think you can't take any more, it's finally time for the big reveal.
Do you think, honestly, that he is the father of Liliana?
It could be 50-50 chance, honestly.
Anybody got a quarter?
Do you understand that for a man, for any person, that would be really hard
to accept. There is a part of me that listens to you both talk and sees that one, if not both of you, maybe still wants to make this work.
And here's the moment everyone's been waiting for.
Pertaining to 1-year-old Liliana, Mr. Thruckel, you are Liliana's father. So you all are living in the house together?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you sleeping with both of them while you live in the house with both of them, Ms. Hilburn?
Yes, I was.
I'm not trying to give anyone tips, but how did you pull that off?
He would go to work. As soon as he left, me and the other guy would have sex.
Wow.
Well, I came out the car. I seen somebody jump out the window, and I'm knocking on the door for like 30 minutes.
And so wait, were you there when the guy jumped out the window?
I'm looking at him run through the field. And it took her at least 30 minutes to open up the door.
The day he came to the house, he has a habit of losing his key.
Miss Bryson says her ex, Mr. McCarroll, is the dad, even though she was with other guys. He denies it and wants the kid's last name changed.
Ms. Bryson, you have dragged the defendant, your ex-boyfriend, Mr. McCarroll, into court today because although you admit to having sex with more than one man, you are here with proof that Mr. McCarroll is the father of your 18-month-old son, Zylan McCarroll.
Miss Bryson says if Mr. McCarroll doesn't answer his phone, he's cheating. He says she's making stuff up, but she swears she knows his habits. The judge watches as they argue like it's a soap opera.
Every time we're together, he cheats. I wanted us to get married, and he doesn't want to do that because he wants to be a whore.
I tried to structure everything about my life to make it where we would never have to be here in this situation, where she would never have to be here and have question marks over these kids' heads.
Everywhere he goes, he meets someone.
She claims she couldn't even read a book without him freaking out. He says she's just paranoid, but she heard him talking to another woman. This fight is getting worse by the second.
I can't talk to my mother on the phone. I can't read a book without getting put out, cursed out.
I was supposed to bring his lunch in for him. I called him, he didn't answer, and I know him. Anytime he don't answer the phone, it's a woman involved. And sure enough, it was. His friend, his best friend still to this day, they cheat together. They do everything together, okay?
You can't even read a book.
Yes, no, ma'am.
She was dating someone else when she got pregnant, but Mr. McCarroll wouldn't leave her alone. She says she still loved him and believes he's the dad, but timelines don't lie, and things are about to get weird.
When I had gotten pregnant, we were separated. He was with another lady. Every time he comes over, he don't know how to keep his hands to himself. Even if I'm in a relationship, he still does it. As soon as my friend turns his back, he touching on. And I tell him, don't do that. But while I'm separated, I do love him with all my heart. Everything in me loves him. I want all my kids to be his.
So you were with another man?
Yes, I was.
She admits she cheated on guys with Mr. McCarroll because she couldn't stay away. She dumped her boyfriend when she found out she was pregnant. Her plan? Get her family back together, but it's not looking good.
In the past, I have cheated on guys with him because, like I said, I love him. When I got pregnant with him, I was with someone and I broke up with him, and I told the other guy why I was breaking up with him, because I didn't want to hurt his feelings. I wanted to have a family with him. I wanted to get married to him. Like I said, I've been with him since I was 18. I love him. Any man I ever talked to know that I love him, okay?
She brings a whole conception calendar to prove her case. He looks confused, saying he doesn't even remember the exact date. But just when the argument settles, another man walks in.
You're handing up calendar.
Based on that calendar, I could see my son on April the 28th.
In blue is the date you were intimate with Mr. McCarroll.
Yes, ma'am.
You have outlined the window of conception that you calculated.
I actually went online because when I found out that I was pregnant, I had currently went to the doctor a week before. I was trying to have a son.
Turns out she was with Mr. Perkins just 2 days before Mr. McCarroll. Mr. Perkins looks shocked, saying he had no idea she was still seeing her ex. The judge is officially done with this nonsense.
We slept together also on April the 26th. That's the day that I split up with him.
But I'm so bad, though.
Ms. Bryson, that's just 2 days before you said you slept with Mr. McCarroll.
I understand that. Yes, ma'am.
Why are you not including him as a possible father?
Well, I just don't think that he is. My son, he looked just like my daughter. And also, I have another 6-week-old by him.
The judge calls him out for acting like the good guy while being in this mess. He swears he provides for his kids, but the judge isn't buying it. Now, it's time for the real truth. DNA results.
Your Honor, when I met her, she didn't have nothing. I took her, she had never
And she still don't have nothing according to you, so what does that say about you?
Right.
And she got all your babies. No, stop over-talking me. I want an answer to that. Because just a few minutes ago, you said to me, I could have prevented all. Didn't have to be another beautiful black woman out here with baby. It has been determined by this court. Mr. McCarroll, you are not the father.
This whole thing is straight up wild. Judge Lake introduces the case where Ms. Hilburn is caught in a love triangle that led to her baby, Saria. Mr. Barnes really hopes he's the dad, but things are already looking messy.
Ms. Hilburn, you admit that you've been caught up in a love triangle for the past 3 years, which you say resulted in the birth of your 10-month-old daughter, Sarai. But you're here to prove she is the defendant's baby.
Yes, Your Honor.
Imagine doing everything for a baby, only to find out she might not be yours. Mr. Barnes was there for ultrasounds, the birth, and even showed up at the hospital first. Then boom, he finds out he couldn't sign the birth certificate because Ms. Hilburn is still married.
It's a father-daughter relationship. I was there from start to finish. I was there for appointments, ultrasounds. I was there when she was born. I got there before I did to the hospital. I signed all the paperwork to be on the birth certificate. Well, I couldn't be because she is still legally married, so I was not able to be put on it.
Oh, she's still legally married to someone else?
Valentine's Day is supposed to be about love, not heartbreak. Mr. Barnes found out his girlfriend cheated when she went out and didn't answer her phone. The next morning, she casually rolls back in with the other guy, and people straight up told him what happened.
Before Valentine's Day, which is the first time it happened, I was at work. She said she's going to a friend. I get home, I try texting her, try calling her, no response. The next day, Miss Hilburn and the other gentleman, I was informed by the people who brought them that they had slept together that night.
That is not true. I told him that I'd slept with the other man.
She had been telling him that she was not with anybody at that point in time.
This story somehow gets even wilder. Mr. Barnes, Ms. Hilburn, and the other guy were living together while she was sleeping with both of them. The audience just about lost their minds when she admitted to pulling that off.
So you all are living in the house together?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you sleeping with both of them while you live in the house with both of them, Ms. Hilburn?
Yes, I was.
I'm not trying to give anyone tips, but how did you pull that off?
He would go to work. As soon as he left, me and the other guy would have sex.
Wow.
Just when you think this can't get worse, boom, she's pregnant again. Ms. Hilburn doesn't know if Mr. Barnes or the other guy is the father. Oh, and she's still sleeping with both of them.
5 months after this baby was born, I became pregnant again.
Oh, so you're pregnant now?
Yes, 7 months.
You're pregnant right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know who this child's father is?
It could be Mr. Barnes or the other guy.
It's the same situation.
Guess we can cancel our vacations
Absolutely.
because Miss Hilburn will be returning.
Now they can't even agree on when the truth came out. Mr. Barnes says he didn't know about the other guy until 2 months after Saria was born. Ms. Hilburn swears she told him before, but honestly, who even knows at this point?
I didn't find out about the other guy until 2 months after Sarai was born. We had gotten into an argument and she had let slip that I may not be the father, so
I did tell him before the baby was born that there was a chance that she could not be his.
You told me 2 months after Sarai was born.
Told you
That's
2
when
months before
most of the
Sarai was
problems
born.
between you and I started dealing with that gorgeous girl right there.
Now it turns out Saria is being used as a bargaining chip. Mr. Barnes says Ms. Hilburn threatens to take the baby away when she doesn't get what she wants. Meanwhile, the other guy only acts like a dad when it annoys Mr. Barnes.
Somebody tried to play your baby like she's a little pawn in the game?
Yes.
She does the same thing, Your Honor. She holds her over my head. If somebody doesn't do what she wants or something happens that she disapproves of, she will threaten to take her away from me, not let me see her.
This other guy, what if he's the father?
He's not going to be a dad.
If this situation wasn't bad enough, Mr. Barnes has a girlfriend. But guess what? She lives with her ex and their kids.
So, Mr. Barnes, you got a girlfriend.
Yes, I do.
Does she know about this relationship?
No, she suspects, but when you don't see your girlfriend for 7 months, you don't see her, what else are you supposed to do?
You say you don't see your girlfriend for 7 months?
Yeah, she lives on the property with her baby daddy and her kids.
Well, here it is.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Barnes, you are not Saray's father.
This part was straight up movie level crazy. Wilson let Ms. Dean move in, treated her well, and then found out she was sneaking around with other men in his own house. He says he's been tricked before and refuses to get played again. Wilson just wants answers, but he's about to get a whole lot more drama instead.
Mr. Wilson, you've opened your case today to prove that Ms. Dean's 17-month-old daughter, Jakaya, is not your biological child. You say you moved her into your home, laid out the red carpet, only to find out she was rolling around with other men in your home.
Ms. Dean comes in swinging, saying Wilson is straight up lying and making things up like a kid caught eating cookies. She swears they planned the baby together, and Wilson was all in until he randomly switched up. Just when you think she's got a good case, Wilson drops a huge bomb about why he started doubting everything.
It really is. He's being not only belligerent and lying. Him and his family is lying because not only did we plan this baby, we had concessions. I had my period, literally getting down, doing things besides just.
Oh, that's a concession.
Yeah, a concession.
Okay.
So when I say we having a concession, I mean everything over and above.
Okay.
Wilson says when he looks at the baby, all he sees is Ms. Dean's ex, and now he's questioning everything. He got even more suspicious when Ms. Dean posted a pic of the baby with another guy, and suddenly things weren't adding up. Then Wilson comes through with receipts, and it's about to get even messier.
I see the baby, but I don't see me in the baby. I see the ex in the baby. She posted a Facebook picture of the baby with him, and it looks like the baby, not mine.
Who is with him?
So you actually say, I wanted to have this baby together.
Yes.
Where did everything go wrong?
Her
if you
story
planned
not
it,
consistent, the word she used. Yeah.
Okay.
It was not consistent as her storytelling.
Why
as
was
the
it?
truth kept coming about, the lies kept adding up to it.
Wilson says Ms. Dean was always whispering in another room like she was planning a secret mission. Then he finds out her ex was over all the time, chilling on her couch like he paid rent. Ms. Dean denies everything, but Wilson isn't letting this go anytime soon.
She's whispering, I hear echoes. She's always in a different room of the apartment. And I'm like, why you never around the kids? Why? She's like, I can't talk now because my ex is here. And why is he there 11 o'clock at night if the kids got school in the morning?
With that other guy, he just don't want to take responsibility and be a man and stand up. He is lying. He came over
visited
to
30 days?
He lied. How was it 30 days when we was having concessions all that time?
Wilson says he ran into Ms. Dean's ex at the bus stop, and dude just casually said, yeah, I'm the dad. Wilson is standing there, trying to process the madness, while this guy is completely unbothered. If Wilson had doubts before, now he's got proof, but the drama is far from over.
When I ran into him at the bus stop, I said, this is coincidence. Now I can man up and ask him face to face. What's the story in his end? If it add up to what she's telling me, then I have no doubts. He's like, yeah. I said, what y'all supposed to be having? He said, a little girl. He went into details. So there, that fueled my doubts. When the baby was born, it was so light and bright. I was like, he's so dark, she's dark. It's no way he's the father.
Ms. Dean accuses Wilson of taking the baby and disappearing like a magician. She says he was using the baby to impress another woman, while Wilson says he just needed time to figure things out. Just when you think this can't get wilder, Wilson's sister steps in.
why would he just have the baby?
He had the baby trying to take the baby so he can be with someone else. He used me, basically.
She watched too many life.
After I had that baby, Your Honor, he proposed to me, told me that we were going to get married, moved in together, took the baby, tried to move away. Well, tried to have the baby in his care. He never took her because I gave her to him.
Wilson's sister is not here to play. She says Ms. Dean is only after money, not the truth. She claims Ms. Dean's own family doubted that Wilson was the dad. Just when things start calming down, Wilson gets real emotional about what this baby meant to him.
I asked my brother, why are you dealing with her again? She did this to you 9 years ago.
Okay.
It was a grievance and it was attachment instantly. Like, this is my baby. I think that she's attaching to him financially. It's not for looking for the father of this child. It's about what the baby can get from this man. She knew what she had done. When my brother had this baby, we were going to take it and do what we need to do for the baby. She came to my home.
Wilson says after losing his dad, this baby gave him a reason to live again. He really thought Ms. Dean was giving him the family he always wanted, but now he's not so sure. It's time for the moment of truth, the DNA test results.
It was a chance for me to live again. It was giving me purpose because I was so attached to my father. She was willing to give me something that she kind of even regretted not giving me in the beginning of our relationship when we had history. I didn't have no doubt that we planned this. It should have been that. But somebody was not committed and consistent, and it was not me.
Judge Lake opens the envelope and boom.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Wilson, you are not the father.
This case was a mess from the start. Judge Lake introduces Reeves versus Silva, where Ms. Reeves claims Mr. Silva is the father of her baby, Legend. Mr. Silva confidently says, no way, but his reasoning is about to make this even crazier.
Ms. Reeves, you are here today to prove that the defendant, Mr. Silva, is the biological father of your 7-month-old son, Legend. Mr. Silva, you were involved in a paternity case on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta in support of your sister, who took a DNA test to prove paternity of her child.
This man really said men are meant to cheat. He claims it's natural for men to do whatever they want, but women can't. Judge Lake and the audience lose it, and Ms. Reeves is straight up done with him.
I just don't trust her, Your Honor. I feel like she's tricking me into believing
believing that I'm Legend's father. I grew up loving women, loving sex.
You grew up loving sex.
And women can't go out, have sex, and come home, and especially with a baby, it's trying to say that I'm his father. I just want.
All of this started because all he wanted to do was cheat on me. I've been nothing but faithful to him since I first met him.
Mr. Silva swears he can't be the dad because she texted her ex. Meanwhile, he was out here acting single the whole time. Somehow, he still thinks he's the victim.
Well, we was broken up at the time, but immediately, as soon as I told him that I was pregnant, he was like, oh, okay, with who?
We were broken up for 4 weeks, Your Honor. I called her texting her ex.
Is that why you broke up?
Yes, Your Honor.
When you
I confronted her
with
about texting her ex. I caught them texting multiple times. She claims they're just friends. One day, I just decided to try to go on her phone, and she changed her password on me.
He ghosted her for the entire pregnancy, but showed up at the hospital. Even then, he only signed the birth certificate because he felt pressured. So he didn't want to claim the baby, but signed up anyway. Make it make sense.
As soon as she told me, I told her who was the father. So I did not believe I was the father, and I was not with her during her pregnancy. I was only there to be supportive during the birth. Throughout the whole time, I'm telling her I want a DNA test. In the hospital, none but her family was there. I was by myself. I came in. As soon as the Legend was born, the doctor came in the room, straight to me and gave me the paper. I didn't want to make her look bad, so
So you signed the birth certificate?
Yes.
Ms. Reeves pulls out receipts from a woman saying Mr. Silva told her she didn't know who the father was. He admits he lied just to be grimy. So now he's both messy and reckless.
Like, well, I have proof right here. A girl, she messaged me basically saying that, they was talking. He was her boyfriend as well. He didn't know me. I'm just.
So you got a message out of the blue from another woman. And it says, he told me you were his ex and that you were pregnant, but and didn't know who the dad was.
Yes, ma'am.
He says if the baby isn't his, both Reeves and Legend can kick rocks. Ms. Reeves is emotional, saying she doesn't want her son growing up feeling unwanted. Meanwhile, Mr. Silva is praying the baby doesn't look like her ex.
I just feel a little hurt, you know what I mean? Because, we have a beautiful baby together. And I don't want him to grow up feeling like, oh, my daddy didn't even think that I was his. I don't want him to feel like, we were just being irresponsible. I want him to love me the way that I love my parents. I want him to grow up the same way that I grew up with both of his parents in his life. You know what I mean?
Mr. Silva, you are the father.
This case is already a circus, and the show just started. Ms. Hicks wants to prove that Mr. Smith is the dad, but he says his body doesn't even make babies. Then he calls her own sister as a witness to back him up, because why not make this even messier?
Ms. Hicks, you say the sins of your past have brought you into court today to save your relationship. You are petitioning the court for a DNA test to prove that the defendant is the father of your 3-month-old daughter, Honesty.
If loyalty was a test, Ms. Hicks's sister just flunked. She straight up tells the court her sister cheats all the time, and Mr. Smith is not the only possible dad. Ms. Hicks fires back with sarcasm, but Mr. Smith clings to his I can't have kids excuse like it's his last lifeline.
She telling false lies, okay? I know for a fact that he was not the only one she was sleeping with. I guess you're there in the same bed with me when I'm sleeping with these people, I get. They was staying with me for some time, okay? From what I know, my sister's a cheater. She been like that her whole life, okay?
You hear the allegations that have been stated thus far. This is what leads you to believe you are not the biological father of Honesty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now things get weird. Mr. Smith says a weightlifting injury made him baby-proof. Ms. Hicks is like, well, explain this fully existing baby right here. He still insists he physically can't be the father, even though the baby is literally in front of him.
I used to work out a lot, and one time strained myself too hard, and I had to go to the hospital, and the doctor told me that I couldn't have kids, that my testicles had dropped by that time.
Male hypogonadism is a condition in which the body doesn't produce enough testosterone or has an impaired ability to produce sperm or both.
Mr. Smith pulled out the ultimate receipt, text messages from another guy. The messages were all, hey, when can I get some? And she allegedly said, come over when he's gone. Ms. Hicks says she doesn't even remember the texts, which is super convenient.
I went through her phone and found text messages, and it said when I can get that kitty cat.
Oh. The other guy said, I miss that kitty cat. You know he leaves, so you can come over anytime.
Yes, Your Honor.
You saw this message and you feel like she was definitely sleeping around. Did something similar to this come through your phone?
I don't even remember that text message, Your Honor.
This case turns into an action movie when Mr. Smith says a dude jumped out of a window. He swears he saw someone bolt across a field while Ms. Hicks took 30 minutes to open the door. She claps back saying, sir, we live on the 2nd floor.
Well, I came out the car. I seen somebody jump out the window,
And I'm knocking on the door for like 30 minutes.
And so wait, were you there when the guy jumped out the window? I'm looking at him run through the field.
And it took her at least 30 minutes to open up the door.
The day he came to the house, he has a habit of losing his key.
Plot twist. Mr. Smith admits he pretended to be happy about the baby. He was all smiles on the outside, but in his head he was like, nope, this ain't my kid. Ms. Hicks is confused because he was literally calling the baby beautiful and saying she looked like him.
You found out she's pregnant?
Yes.
Were you happy about it?
Faking it to her, but I know in my mind that
Faking it?
I can't have.
Oh, you were faking it to her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything. I mean, at the hospital, you're there. He was like, oh, she looked just like me. She's so beautiful. Where's all this doubt coming from all of a sudden?
You know, Your Honor, because I felt sorry for her because she could have lost her life.
An actual doctor comes in to set things straight. She says hypogonadism can affect fertility, but doesn't mean zero sperm. Mr. Smith's I can't have kids excuse is now looking real shaky.
So hypogonadism is when the body doesn't produce enough testosterone. You can either be born with it or you can develop it later in life. Usually from things like infection or an injury to the testicles can also cause it. But nature gives us 2 testicles, and so usually it has to be a profound injury to not one, but both testicles to actually cause hypogonadism.
And now, the moment of truth. The results are in, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Smith, you are the father.
This was a total mess from the start. Ms. Van Meter admits she cheated, and that's why Mr. Watkins isn't sure the kid is his. She has no idea why he's still around, and honestly, neither do we.
We are not in a relationship. We just live together at the moment. Broke up because of the simple fact that I cheated. He has just stayed and he's been there throughout everything, throughout the whole birth, throughout my son being 3 now. He's just played his dad the whole time. I don't really know why he stayed. I just know he has stayed.
This was straight up wild. Mr. Watkins catches her deleting texts, leaves to cool off, and boom, her family tells him she was in a car outside getting busy. She admits it, but says it just happened like she slipped and fell into cheating.
I saw her on the couch texting. See what she's doing. She's texting and deleting messages. And she's like, oh, I was just talking to my friend. What you deleting messages? What she was saying, and I was like, you wasn't saying that because you deleted them. I left just to cool down because I don't like sticking around arguing about nothing. So I was coming back. One of her family picked me up and told me that they saw her outside in the car doing what she was doing with the dude.
This was just embarrassing. Ms. Van Meter confesses she had intimate violence in a car right outside the house while her family was inside. Not only did they catch her, but they totally snitched.
So you had sex in front of the house in a car and your family was inside the house and then they told on you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Wow. So Mr. Watkins, you're riding in the car.
Yeah.
How do you find out that it's the guy with the text message?
She told me who it was, who
When
the
you confronted
actual
her.
person was.
I was going to tell him when we got
and then
there.
my whole thing
But
was, you said it was a friend, right?
Now things get extra suspicious. She finds out she's pregnant a week or 2 after her little car moment, but swears she used protection. Mr. Watkins isn't buying it, and honestly, neither is anyone else.
You do have this sexual encounter and then you find out you're pregnant.
Yes, Your Honor.
How long after that?
Maybe a week or 2 after the fact. I don't remember the exact date, but when I had sex with him, I did use protection.
She told me she didn't use it, and then she
I
told
told
me
you
she
I did
did
not
use
remember.
it. She said
If
she
I
didn't
did, but I
remember.
did.
Everything explodes into chaos. Judge Lake calls her out, and she finally admits she really wants Watkins to be the dad. Meanwhile, Watkins is standing there like, so we're just now admitting all this?
That ain't because I had a scare about my cancer and I had a biopsy done. At the end of the day, if something happens to me, I want my son to know who his dad is because I want him to be there for that person and to know that he loves them and all that.
Who's listed as father?
Nobody. I'm the only one on there.
But he has Mr. Watkins' last name.
He named him.
Here it is, the big moment.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Watkins, you are the father.
All right.